Yo, guys. We should all be now live. Everyone live. You can all talk.
Ah, thanks. Just waiting. So we couldn't talk, so we were waiting.
You can all talk.
Look at that fancy background. Very nice.
We have a new background, as you can see. We had a few comments about flickering things and stuff like that, so we've quickly grabbed this little bad boy, which I think is a fantastic picture.
Is it the wrong way? So
Which
the
one's
astral belt go the other way.
What?
That's
someone's taken that photo and that way, so I've left it that way. I'm not in the business of changing their photo.
Way.
There is space. Exactly. So
you jumping in with it facing the other way. It's like
yeah. This is the best I could do with your lights at the moment. So
listen, what have you done with Little Bit of Madness as well? You're not good with fucking computers, man.
What are you trying to say?
It's like it's not in line with the rest of the names.
Oh my god. Can we have a sound check, guys? Is everyone cool with the sound? Is everyone's voice okay? Who needs to be a bit louder or quieter? Can everyone just talk a bit?
A bit more, man. There's a bit more.
Mic check.
Mic check on Zach.
Mic
Is
check
Zach okay?
1 2. Mic check 1 2 2 1. Mic check.
my check.
We may hear now and again, guys, in the background, my wife getting excited because she's watching football.
Tea!
And asking for cups of tea.
She's watching what?
She's watching football.
Oh.
Okay.
She loves football.
Proper football.
She loves proper football. Watching Everton versus Manchester City.
All the cool kids are still outside of Germany.
So, welcome to episode 34, Addicted Podcast. It's been a really interesting week in the world of Star Citizen. We now are currently, this week is now Gamescon. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Friday, we will have, obviously, the presentation from Star Citizen at Gamescon. We will talk a bit more about Gamescom. But so I'm really looking forward to that. We've got a few people there. It's been, the last ATV was, shall we say, content light, to say the least, in terms of new content for us to really talk about.
Pretty things to look at, I suppose.
Yeah, we have a few pretty things, but...
Yeah.
Listen, what is up with that green screen, man?
Dude... That's your lights. I have spent the last 10-15 minutes.
Listen, you haven't even cut my wall out underneath. That's how good you've been busy on this shit.
It just looks like you're in space. It's fine.
It's fine. You're in the Star Trek space.
I can't deal with this. Quality minus.
Will you get some decent lights
quality
then?
minus 10, boys. Where's this? I can get a green screen out of home.
Get some. Everyone's a critic.
Always blaming the materials. I don't think it's the materials this time.
Yeah.
I think it's the user.
I don't think so. Everybody else, not a problem.
T.
Okay. So
Go.
So let's go around the table. So we'll start with Solitary. How has your week been, buddy? What have you been up to?
It's been shit, man. Look at this green screen.
Yeah.
No, it's been good. Slowly picking up my schedule again. Been good. We did some bear brand creating for Star Citizen, which I will continue this week. I'm completely disappearing now, man. We're a bear bottle, yeah. I'll show some progress next time. I'm completely fucking disappearing here.
Lost in space.
It's the best. If you don't want the flicker behind, that's the best I can do. Honestly, I'm not joking. I'm not doing it anymore. I've been over it.
It looks a bit
10
like
minutes.
the computer, when you got the AI.
Yeah. Solitary. Speak like a robot.
Wow.
Speak.
Okay, and
Just have a drink. You'll be fine.
Okay.
So,
Zach?
Yeah, Zach, how's your week been, buddy?
My week has been fantastic, boys. It was the first week of me 3-week vacation from work, so I've been just doing loads of shit with my new car and stuff, and also doing more streaming than usual. So it's worked out pretty well.
Yeah. 3 weeks off, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Lucky bastard.
Lush, mate. Lush.
It's hard. It's hard work being at home all the time. I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah, and then when I do go back to work, it's in a new job role, so it's like I'm off night shift now after 8 years, which is cool.
Oh, mate.
So it's going to open up so I can get a proper streaming schedule going.
Proper
and,
tan.
A little bit more
You get
serious.
proper tan as well. You'll be able to actually have colour in your skin.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when I worked night shift.
With the curtains closed.
Yeah, I now remember when I was night shifts. I was pale as a ghost when I worked when I was a teenager. It was brutal.
Yep, 8 years of it, dude.
Yeah,
to get out.
I bet you are. Miz, how about you, buddy? What have you been up to?
It's been an interesting week. Yeah, it's been quite good. So I had a little bit of, tiny bit of Star Citizen dogfighting training from Madness himself.
Thank you.
It didn't go too well. I died a lot.
It was the opposite of him surviving, but I think you picked up the basics pretty well.
A survivor just couldn't hit shit.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's cool. That's the beginning.
But it was good fun, and it was it's the start of my learning trial to just at least survive in the verse, if nothing else. On top of that, I did a stream with the missus. We did some Total War for a change. So thought to see how that goes, which was quite funny. And that was pretty much. Oh, and been down the vet with a dog because that was fun as well. So.
Animals, I usually just drown them. I mean,
yeah, I was tempted to drown my wife rather than the dog. It'd solve most of the problem.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I don't think I'd get away with it though. She's like that. She's ready to stab me. So my week has been pretty good. Just chilling, hanging out with a lot of you guys who've been having free time to stream. I'm just crazy busy with work, but it's been great. I've been hanging out with Toby and Zach, and they've been streaming, and we're doing a lot of loads of dogfighting actually, a lot more than I expected to be able to do, which is quite nice. Sometimes it's quite refreshing to be able to just. When we stream, it's fine, but it can be quite intense. So it's quite nice. I'm a gamer by heart, so I naturally like to, you know what I mean. I naturally like to actually play games without all that kerfuffle in the background, so it's quite nice. So I've been enjoying that a lot. So yeah, and then just watching ATV and then putting this document together, and then I've been doing a lot of research into kind of Gamescom, which is kind of where we can kind of go off from really. So I've kind of put together a little bit here. So I'm gonna bring up a few vids very quickly. I'm going to try and get these.
Why you set that up?
Yeah, so I'm just going to quickly just pull up a few vids.
So some of the so Gamescom this is obviously this week. Everybody knows that. They've got 3 streamers rather than 4 this year. I don't know why, but they've picked 3 this year, and it's Gamble, DJ Knight, and Maya Test. So it's nice to see at least a couple of European people being represented at a European convention, so that's always good. I think Maya does stream like Star Citizen every day, so it'd be quite nice to see his input. There's been a tweet out where the booth itself at least is showing off 3.0, or at least a Daymar Moon. I don't know whether the streamers will be or not, so that's something that would be interesting to see.
Well, I've already said my piece. If anyone's seen the Twitter when they posted the picture, I pretty much said what I thought of the fact that there was a certain individuals there that I felt it would have been nice if they had that 4th space for somebody such as Toby, who's 1, German, and 2, has been streaming the game consistently over the last several months. And I'm sure there's many other people as well, streamers. There's a few other German streamers I've seen, and there's a few other content people who I think deserve the opportunity to be that 4th person, in my opinion, more than other people. But you know,
he's inviting himself.
No, not me personally. Toby, thank you so much for the bits, man. I appreciate that. I just think that I really do. I really do think that Toby should have been there. But and if they were hot on that, this is again, we were talking about communication and like at the end of the day, you should be really consciously aware of who is streaming your game, who is actually putting out the content for your game, not just who's like done it 5 years ago. You should be who's relevant now, who's actually doing it now. They should really be all over that. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel again, it just showed up that their lack of real. Yeah, anyway, that's just me. And I'm, like I said, I've got nothing against the boys that there. I think they're all great. It's just, I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, I know I talked earlier, Matt, about like from a marketing standpoint, it's obviously to get the partner streamers in and stuff, but it would have been like awesome to get some of the local lads in, like Toby and stuff, that have been, as you say, like super active recently.
Yeah. Just and the local. That's the thing. Is like they live in the country that you're putting it on. It's not like, you know, it's getting somebody from America for, you know, $800 flight or whatever it is. It's they could probably maybe even drive there, or they might even live there. You know, you just don't know. So
yeah, I think as Zach said, I think it's purely down to being partners and getting. They're just thinking numbers, and who they want on that's like got the most numbers. And partnered basically.
So,
but I don't know if that will change for because like obviously Gamescom is slightly different to CitizenCon. So Gamescon is trying to reach out and appeal to new backers, people that haven't seen the game before, whereas CitizenCon is obviously more of a fan-based event for the fans and everything. So you may see different faces at CitizenCon. I'm not 100% sure whether they'll bother to worry that much about it, but I think that's what they're looking at for Gamescom. They're looking at for partner streamers. Well, it seems that way, that that can reach out further. But then last time they had 4, so I don't know why they've only gone for 3 this time. Probably because Lando's like taken a slot.
Yeah, maybe.
Wouldn't
I
surprise
think
me.
they've had to put them up for a week this time as well, haven't they? So it's obviously going to keep costs down, just having the 3.
Yeah, they've kept them longer. I don't know if this is because they're trying to build, whether they've got them in early to try this sort of 3.0 build that they've showing off on the booth. So whether they've been told to kind of learn that for a couple of days, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see.
So
it would make sense.
Can I just add something before we continue?
Go for it.
It's your shitty fucking background. Look at this. I'm good on this one.
I've already changed you. And also the fact that I've got a lot of things going on behind you hides the terrible lighting you have.
Listen, I just upped the lighting for you.
That's why I put you in the
I just
corner.
upped the lighting for you.
It's fine. You're good, man. You're good. Enough about the lighting. Let's move past the lighting. You've got... I'm just gonna say, like, this is... I did a little bit on Gamescom. So for some people who maybe know Gamescom, who followed the game, who've seen the game in development since the beginning, for me, I haven't actually been playing this game for any longer than a year. So I haven't got the background history. So I've been watching a few videos. There's a couple of people who've put some really great content together on YouTube about the Star Citizen history and stuff. So I've been catching up on a lot of that. And one of the things I thought would be nice, just to kind of like grabbed a few little screenshots from little videos from some of the Gamescom. Now, for some reason, when I get to 2015, things have started to kind of go wrong with the videos, but I'll try again in a second. But this is 2013, and just a little trip just to remind everybody of where Star Citizen was in 2013 and what people were getting super hyped for. So this is pretty crazy when you see people getting excited for this.
Turn EpicZaqq up a little bit as well.
Turn Zach up a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Turn them on.
All the way up, dude.
So 2013, we had hangers at Gamescom. This is what they showed us, and everybody was like hyped as shit.
And he still longs him with a gamepad.
Yeah. Whee! Everybody's going crazy. And that was it. And it was a hangar, and it was with a ship inside it, an Aurora, and everyone got super, super excited for it.
To be fair, the Southland hangar doesn't look much different. No, it does. They put some logos in it. The lighting's probably a hell of a lot better than it used to be.
Yeah, you can tell the lighting. You can tell the quality of the character.
Lights on the ship look cooler than what they do now.
Well, this is it. So I'm really annoyed now. For some reason, something's not working. So I'm going to have to try and dig it out. So I will let you guys carry on talking about stuff in a second. But that was 2013 Gamescom, and they had a tiny little box when they were presenting it. Now this is in 2014 Gamescom. They presented racing. So we got the racing for the first time, which was pretty cool. No one, they showed us how the flight mechanics. Obviously, they'd been working on the flight mechanics, and they actually had it in play. And they showed us, like, they had the trailer there for the Gamescom, how the flights. And then they actually, you'll see later on in the video, they actually had the split screen with the 4 screens, and they had actually people racing against each other. Now, I thought that was pretty cool.
Like, I can't remember when I backed, but do you think I wasn't watching Gamescom back then? Do you think the racing was something people wanted back then? Was that part of a hype? Were people quite hyped for that?
It's still very hyped for people that really play this for the racing at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
look at Captain Kim and I forgive me if I pronounce his name wrong. Shime, I think, plays a lot. Shime. He plays a lot of this racing stuff. They all love it, man. I think there was a Cub on as well last week.
Yeah, I know there was the Crux Cup.
Crux Cup, yeah. So
yeah. People
are really living for this stuff. I couldn't do it. My reaction with 31 years old is going down, but I can imagine that people. This is something that works at the moment, So why don't go for it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, if you try and fly a Reliant in there, then it does.
I couldn't do it.
But it was
I have a lot of respect for people that can fly like this.
Flying racing is hard as hell. I mean, I don't know if Zach's done it.
A little bit, but obviously frame rates are too high for me to play.
Don't put them too high frame rates.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at racing since I haven't practiced it.
I know when I watched, I think it's when I was first started watching streamers, I think WTF was like playing racing constantly. But I think that's what happens when you do a lot of one thing and it's what's available, isn't it, really? So.
Totally.
I think the racing was actually a stretch goal way back.
All of everything that I think that sometimes people seem to disconnect. They think that once they've reached a certain amount of money, it's like everything we've got in the game, which I was learning about, is a stretch goal. It's everything has been once they've hit a certain amount of money, they're enabled to go away and do something for us. So it's quite interesting, like seeing. So obviously, the more money they've had meant that there's been able to be more content and stuff like that. So
that's because in initial development there was a certain game that they were pitching and saying this is what we're making. And when they reached the funding for that, they basically asked the community and said, "Look, we've smashed this goal that we weren't expecting to, and we smashed it. Do you want us to just take this money now, go away and make the game that we said we was going to make, or do you want us to make a bigger, better game?" And it wasn't whitewashed, but something like 90% of the people said, "Fuck it, no. If you can get more money, take more money, go and make a much bigger and better game." And that's why a lot of these are stretch goals, because they weren't in the initial plan. But people wanted it, so
yeah. It's all there. The thing is a lot of people forget. It's been such a long period of time. All the information is there, which I've kind of like gone, right, okay, do you know what? I criticize, but ultimately I'm uninformed at times when I criticize, and I should always remember to be informed before I can criticize. So I'm trying to make sure that I actually educate myself, and then I have a valid grounding for when I say, hey, look, this isn't right, and this is why, because of this, this, and this. And that's why I'm constantly trying to educate myself on the history, which will help me inform me for the future, So this was 2015 Gamescom, okay? Now, like I said, for some reason, all the videos I did, they seem to mess up after this, but this is the last one. So this is when they showed us basically what we currently play. Is it 2015 or 2014? Yeah, 2015.
15, yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm just going to let it roll, but we do this every single freaking day, pretty much. I mean, you will notice that there has been improvements, obviously, since. I mean, this was the first iteration of 2.0. There has been
Even there, you can see how empty it is inside the corridors and stuff. Now, how they've got like the desks, the Big Benny's machines, the lighting's changed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the guy looks like he's walking weird as well as hell. I mean, I don't know what speed he's walking at.
Yeah, I remember seeing this and being like completely blown away. It was amazing.
Yeah. And then they all walking
together. When actually all got outside in the ships and stuff and like flew away with it.
Yeah.
And this is
this...
Go on,
sorry. Go on.
You can talk, guys. It's fine.
Do it.
So it was like really quiet today.
I was just going to say
It's
this
like
was.
we're being really respectful.
That's it. Like, there's a lot of things where we don't realise they've gone back, and they've said before they've had to go back and redo a load of this stuff because of the technology that they've had, the technology that they've got that's changed. So it means that they have to readdress all this. But it does, and like if you're new to the game, or like you said, we've been playing a certain patch for so long, you forget how it used to look, and so like it's quite easy to turn and go, oh yes, what have they been doing? What they've been doing, but you look back at something like this and you go, oh shit, yeah, okay, that's quite a lot has changed.
A ton of content.
This is really weird to see, and I think especially looking back on it, man. It's like...
This is why it's good to. This is why sometimes it is good to look back on content, to go, hang on, because a lot of people forget where they were and what they had done and what they produced.
I think the lighting was a little bit better once we got the player's hands on it, but it obviously was like a super early stage. But what I was going to say earlier was, is this the one where they go into the asteroid and then they go AVA through the ship? Is that this one? Is it?
This one, I believe that might be an older one. Actually, hang on, I'll need to check.
Because it was a really awesome feature. Like I think they dubbed it as grabby hands back then, but that's obviously something different now with the items and stuff. And it was where they were AVAing through the ship, and that you could see the player's hands like grabbing on and pushing off surfaces to because it was 0G and stuff. And I was like, I'd wondered what had happened to that. That looked really.
Wasn't that to do with Ilphonic's FPS levels? I think
that one. I think
when they turned the gravity off on the station and stuff.
That one, I believe.
Oh, that was like the super old Star Marine thing. That one, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was Ilphonics, and they talked about that before. They said that when they got it off of them, it was just so wrong. The scale was wrong and everything, so they had to completely can it because it looked pretty awesome.
Yeah, it looked a lot better than like Star Marine right now, right?
This was the Idris walk that they had. Don't think I've got audio for it working. Yeah. So, hang on. Sorry, guys. Apologies. So this was the. So this was the one of the other things. They had the Gary Oldman speech this year as well in 2015. So they had the Gary Oldman speech, and then they showed us. Then they showed us the Idris.
Is this the first time that they really showed off the Idris? Yeah.
Yeah. They showed off the Bengal in earlier stuff. In pre-sale information and stuff, but this was when they showed off the Idris and stuff.
Interesting.
Which was pretty cool. And they had I mean, it was pretty impressive. Like when you see it there, look, they had the nebulas going on. But I think that when you actually look at the nebulas again, this is this whole level of polish that they keep adding to everything. You know, it's like this is what I was saying to somebody the other day about Gamescon and stuff. I'm like, I've reached a point now where I'm like, okay, you've been polishing the same type of ideas, the same type of content now for about 4 years. That's great. Now you need to start to really bring in some new ideas and some new content. You know what I mean? It's
do you mean that in the way of it's a cinematic? They made it extra dramatic and extra special for the cinematic, and or how do you mean it?
What do you mean? Sorry,
I kind of think that's what he means. It's like basically so that video we're watching, and I think I said it to Matt the other day, that there's like a dogfight and there's nebula and everything else, but the chances are that's probably a small, tiny arena. You know, like we've got Arena Commander. It's all been set dressed, so that when they're flying through and showing.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Is it extra dressed up for the occasion, and is it not going to reflect what we're eventually going to see in game? Is that what you mean, man? Is that what you?
No. I mean, yeah. What I'm saying is that they're very. The Gamescom for me has always been they've already showed its tech demos in terms of new technology and things that they're pushing for, and they've been polishing. I mean, if you were to go back, like I said, if you go back to the old videos, this is where you look at the old content. They showed us the sell-in documents, and then they've achieved the sell-in documents, and then they've added another level of tech demos, and then they've achieved that tech demo in a year, and then they're at 2016, which you'll get to. They showed us Levski, and now in 2017, with 3.0 should technically be here, and we will have all of that tech demos that they showed us. So it's like this is what's great. This is why everyone gets what's called the choo-choo hype train, because they've every year they've showed us what they're going to progress to in a year's time. So that's why I'm so excited for it, because look at the progress that they've made year on year in. You know, every time it seems better. But at the same time, is what I'm saying is there has to come a point when they have to say, we've reached with this type of ideas and this content. You can't keep polishing the same. I mean, they said that they'll do iterations of ships. Like we've done 2 cutlass polishes. I wonder if we'll get a 3rd cutlass polish. We're going to potentially have a 3rd freelancer polish in terms of a new freelancer again. That's fine. It's not a problem, kind of like improving and tweaking and stuff. But I sometimes wonder, at some point you have to kind of stop, right? Don't you? And move on to something else and say, that's it. We're going to leave it there for now and move on to some new content.
I feel
go ahead.
That's just my thought.
I was just going to say, I think what it is they're polishing stuff because what they're doing is the technology is improving. So they've had to go back over and do the stuff that they've done before. So yeah, there kind of needs to be a point where it says, well, this is the technology we're going to use. And if someone next week comes and says, oh, do you know all that shit you were doing there? Well, this will make it so much better. And it's like, well, are you going to go back and do it all again? Or are you going to just say, well, no, this is the technology we're now using? Because like they're building the tools from hand. They've closed down or got rid of other companies that they outsourced. So they've all gone. So they've had to take on their work. They've had to build tools that maybe they didn't expect to build. So like all these delays, like Ilphonic, for example, which is talking about the FPS, they got rid of Ilphonic, and that's a ton of work that they weren't expecting to do. They had to expand, get people in, get people to polish and rebuild what another company was supposed to do for them. So I don't know. It feels a bit more like, especially with the procedural technology and the planets, that will get into the point where they're building these tools and they're happy with the tools. The same way with the motion capture and things like that. Because I think a few weeks back they also mentioned that they literally gone over every single character they've already made, and they've had to go over all of them and redo them again, or at least touch them up because of the technology they got from when they were doing it originally from like this Morrowind tour. It's all new. It's all different to that.
I mean, you've got to look, just looking at this picture, you've got to say, look at the improvement. I mean, when we see pictures of Aaron, Mr. Miles, and you look at the buildings and stuff, look at the fidelity on this versus what they've got now. And this is like 2 years ago. It's mind blowing how much better they've brought it up. You know, it's incredibly It's incredible. When I watched this back again, I was like, this is shite by comparison to what we've seen now. But at the time, this was amazing. Everyone in the stadium was getting crazy for it. You know, you're getting a tour of the Idris, the new, you know, big ships. You know, everyone was just going nuts for it and stuff. And it's pretty cool. I mean, what's cool is here is I think they show, I'm going to whiz on a little bit because it's a long video, so we can kind of move on to other things. But it's quite interesting to see, like, we're talking about creating life and stuff in terms of in the NPCs in the space. They're clearly, I mean, look, obviously he's glitching through it, but clearly that's what they're going to do. They're going to have NPCs doing things around the spaceships and stuff because they've showed it in the past. So they will get to that place. NPCs will populate it, will feel more of a live breathing ship, which is going to be really exciting to see, I have to say.
I remember watching this and thinking, like, wouldn't this be a really good like tutorial for the players? Because obviously if anyone's played the old tutorial, it was like so broken and stuff, and it was just awful. Like, I always thought this would be like a good, like, for world building as well, and getting a feel for the actual, like, how the game's going to be, and then jumping in the Gladius there and just taking off into the tutorial zone or whatnot.
Yeah,
I think that would have been a really good like intro to it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's cool, like, seeing like the corridors, and yeah, it's very cool.
Well, you know what I was thinking about?
I was going to share something else.
We obviously been moving on, and we've been redoing stuff, and at some point there comes an end to that as well, because every year there's new technology. You know what I mean? At some point you need to build on what you got as well. You know, otherwise you keep redoing and keep redoing and keep redoing. Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't. We're in that page. I understand
that, you know.
I understand why they're doing it, and I get it, and I think it's not a problem, because at the end of the day, this is the world, so they're creating it, and they want it to look as beautiful as possible. That's absolutely fine. I get it, but I do think that at some point, you know, you have to, like we said before, at some point there has to be like a kind of, we need to put this to the side, polishing, and then we need to, you know, move on in terms of other things, which I'm sure they're doing on there. This is why they do those sprints and stuff. You know, they keep doing the sprints and information and stuff. So I'm just really excited for Friday. Is all I'm saying. I am like choo choo. when you see this just got me pumped. I was just like, look at what they've done. And then like this year is going to be again. I'm just excited. This was 2016. They showed us landing on planets. I mean, procedural cities. We've talked about it. Yeah, it's just like, are we gonna see maybe Squadron 42? Squadron 42. We haven't heard anything about Squadron 42 other than sneaky little tidbits here and there at CitizenCon last year, but we haven't heard anything zip on the Squadron 42 for 2 years since Gary Oldman's speech.
Squadron 42. All the ships that we had were Squadron 42. All the ships that had been brought out are Squadron 42. You know.
Yeah, but what I mean is, we don't.
All assets are Squadron 42 at the end of the day.
Not all assets are.
Most of them, I think.
Not all assets are.
Which is not a bad thing, you know. We're moving towards something, but we've seen that most of the ships that we had are all assets from Squadron 42. You know, fighters and the Idris and that sort of things. You know, Javelin.
Who's actually still hyped for Squadron 42 though?
Well, I am, because I know that Wing Commander story was fun as hell when I played that. So
it's going to be good.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be good. I want to temper my excitement, though. You know what I mean? I don't want to get overexcited and be disappointed. You know?
I'm not going to be disappointed. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be fun. I think
I'll just let it come. You know,
good acting,
I'll just let it come.
Space fighting. Will it be as great as fighting you, Zach, in the PU? No. It won't be as great as fighting as a human being but I mean, if I can fly with you and do missions and do co-op with a friend and
co-op would be good. That
would be wicked. I think it would be good
stick
fun.
with that, hopefully, yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it because it's another part of the whole Star Citizen universe type of thing. But for me, the Star Citizen is what I backed and look forward to. So it's just an extra. It'd be good to play, and it'll give us something to do while we wait for Star Citizen to actually come out for sure, but it's not my main hyped thing for, at least.
Shit, we just got raided by Uber Nerd. It's just raided us. Whoa, shit. Shazbat nanu. Steven says the great man would say. Oh, that's about as much Wookiee as I can do.
Well done, man. Well done. Leave it to the Uber Nerd.
Gargling something that is not the right thing. I should be gargling sound. But this was amazing though. Like I said, Gamescom 2016 was incredible. 2000 and every year, like we've just shown, every year it's got better. So they've got a lot of it's like anything, isn't it? It's like they're building every year. They get better and better and better. And I can imagine the pressure that they're under to deliver again another awesome. And I'm sure they're going to deliver it. They're going to deliver it. Absolutely. Right. Anyway, we'll move back to the old screen whilst I set up some other.
They're going to deliver it. It's more a case of when, but it's just like any other game that's being developed. It takes time, and if you want it done right. And as far as Chris Roberts has said right from the very start, and I've said it a few times, his opening video, his Kickstarter video is, you're backing my vision. I'm just back me, and I'll make you a game that I want to play. And that's basically what you're not going to get it early just because you whine and say, "Oh, I want it now." It's going to come when he's ready for it to be done.
Yeah. Just put on the video of this is the very first. This was the sell-in video, so this is for Star Citizen. So to give people an idea of kind of again, I always think it's good to see this because this shows you
purple lasers.
I know.
Yeah,
this blew me. I was like, "Come on, how cool! I want purple lasers, man. You got to bring that shit back."
So slow. Like the travel of them is so slow as well.
Look at the engine trails. This was 2013. This was early work. This is 2013 stuff. 2012, 2013. This is like the very first kind of like again. This is what I'm saying. This is what they're using to sell the game to people.
Yeah.
And it just looked wicked, like wicked. And when you see but you can see that the nebula's not really doing anything. It's static. It's just really a picture in the background. Whereas that the new ones they've done is moving, it's twisting. You can see.
It's the same as the engine trails. I mean, they're just like this game's already out that do that. They're just very basic. Whereas now they're going to react to your thruster speed and all that other bollocks that I don't know what they're reacting to. But that stuff.
I think trails are going to be like super important for like PvP, and especially so you can judge the direction of your target and stuff like that.
So good. I would like them to bring the colours. They do need to bring the colours back a little bit. I mean, some people might think it's a bit gimmicky. Maybe that's why they got rid of it. But I think it's quite cool, actually. Imagine if you've got like a pink dragonfly, and then you can. Have
You see, isn't that a scythe shooting those colours?
That's a scythe, yeah.
Yeah, so it may well be. We may have some alien-y type guns. Don't know. Possible.
Well, yeah. I mean, that would be again. They've not. There hasn't been any different colours apart from like the plasma kind of ones, which kind of like shoot like a blue light, and then you've got the main pew-pews are just red lasers, right? Zach, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, there's the neutrons and stuff, which are white too.
Neutrons are white.
So it's like white, red for lasers, yeah.
Yeah, but there's no purples, and they didn't keep with this with the purples for the.
You and your
sights.
Purple, just because it matches your asylum theme.
Well, that's I'm a bit of a fan of purple, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. Just again, it's very much a trip down memory lane for me. Kind of doing a lot of research in the background. And just kind of wanted to bring that to everyone's attention because people forget. People just forget. They take for granted what the content that we've had for the last couple months. And I think you need to go back and look at all this old kind of information and stuff. I mean, we've got again. I'm going to bring up some more. More goodies. Here we go. So I've got a bit of audio for this one.
Say hi to everybody.
The original 9 people.
All right, that's it. Look around. These are the people that are going to be creating Star Citizen.
So. There they are. I mean, do I recognize a few faces here? There's a few faces here that I recognize. There's a few faces I don't recognize if they're still there. I'm not sure if they're still working there.
I used to do the Wingman's Hammer back in the day.
Yeah. The Wingman's Hammer, which I didn't know much about. It was called Wingman's Nuts, wasn't it, originally, or something like that?
That was new as Wingman's Hanger.
Is that Chris Roberts in the bowling shirt, yeah?
That's not Chris Roberts, no, that's Eric. I believe the gentleman's name was, I think, wasn't it?
Before the stress took hold.
Before the stress, indeed. And that was really, really cool. I really dug those guys. And I was wondering, is anybody in the stream right now have one of these? Does anyone, if anybody owns one of these, please say in chat if you've actually got one of these cards, because
that bottom one, 10,000.
Hope's
got a couple of those.
Look at that. They and what's amazing is that they actually delivered. They actually did do this. A couple of guys in the team actually. Yes, you got 2 cards. Good job, man. Well done. Awesome stuff. Yeah, I think they're fantastic. I was like, wow.
Tutemon's got
the
2.
old Citizens cards. I used to own one until I got my stolen from my car. No,
Sean. Oh no.
God.
That's not good.
Gutted. So we're doing a little bit of a recap. We're going over the old content from a few years because Gamescon's here.
Yeah, Gamescon. So we're just looking at some of the previous Gamescons, what sort of things were revealed there, and how much progress the game has made. I suppose really. People
forget so quickly. But yeah, I saw these cards. I'm still quite a scrub when it comes to some of the back history of Star Citizen. I did follow and watch it, but I didn't really do the deep dive. So I've been doing deep dive this week, trying to really kind of pick out some new information for myself. And this was something I found, and I was like, I wanted to know how many people actually have this.
I know a few people took it to the Gamescon SitCon in Manchester and got them signed, I think.
Fantastic. That is fantastic. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a regret thing because I think to myself, I should have just backed.
Oh no, why didn't I back at the Kickstarter?
Why didn't I? Because I knew about it and I thought it was cool, and I should have just gone, oh, here you go, here's a bit of money, and I would have got a sweet little card, which would have been fantastic. I wouldn't have been dropping
you one out. Don't worry about it. Send me 10 grand, and I'll print you out the titanium one, mate. It's fine. I'll sort it.
Sure. And then Sherman, I don't know if you were there, but this is the original 9. And I'd be interested to know if there's a video of the original British team as well, and all the different studios. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know who was in the original Manchester one. I know the Frankfurt was headed up by Brian, wasn't it? So it was quite a lot of them was from the company he was with before. They had a small team and kept expanding.
And so we move on. Here's the next thing I wanted to show you guys. Here you go, guys. This is a bit of a trivial history. This was the original economy plan that they had for Star Citizen. So this was very much talking about how they were going to kind of like, you know, if you were selling something and if you had goods that you wanted to produce in the factory, and how it was all going to interlink, and if somebody comes and blows them up in a missile stops the factory from running, that there'll be suddenly a demand for this good and the price will go up, and once the lines straighten up again, then everything will drop. And it was really like, I was watching it all going, okay, that makes a lot of sense actually. Pilot transport in, and
I presume that's what we're going to be getting eventually as well, you know.
Yeah. And this was way back 2012 again, so you know, it's like,
I mean, when I played Jumpgate, which was another space game quite a few years ago, that had a very similar economic type thing. So they even had like player station. Well, further on down the patch, they had player stations, and then the stations had demands. So if you wanted weapons and there was no like missiles, for example, at a factory, you would literally have to go mine the raw materials or get other people to mine the raw materials, dump it at the factory or at the station, and then you'd have to wait for that station to get all the different types of ingredients. Then it would still take time for the missiles to be made, and then you could buy the missiles as it started churning them out. And obviously it started off expensive. The more they had sitting in stock, then they would get cheaper and cheaper. So it's a good system, and I look forward to having that sort of economics in the game, I think.
It's yeah, they've been working on this stuff for a long time, all the mechanics, all the kind of economy stuff. I'm really excited to see once it's all in place. I wouldn't be surprised if they had it all nailed for ages, but they just haven't had the user interface and everything ready to go. Did anyone use this?
Yeah, back when we could still jump ramps in our hangar with a buggy.
Yeah, I remember that once. I missed
that. What? I was like, I watched this and I was fascinated by this. I was absolutely fascinated.
Try different ship guns.
And I was like, I was thinking, I wonder if with the new components and stuff, if they would bring something like this back, but maybe with ships, like dummy ships, or you could test like against shields and stuff, different weapons. So you'd be able to see what weapons work better against different components or different. I mean, obviously we're going to do a lot of that just by testing ourselves anyway, but I was thinking when the game goes live, you're not really going to want to do that too much against other ships. You'll need to have a testing area. We'll obviously have squadron and arena commander, but there was something kind of quite fun about this that I saw, which I was like, was it shit though? Do you know what I mean? Is it stupid? Is it really?
No,
not really?
but we have a consistent universe now. The need for this. The reason this was brought in the first place is because we didn't have a universe yet where we could use our guns. We didn't have, I think, arena commander yet even.
Yes, it was this pre-arena commander.
Yeah, so this was purely to a placeholder. I
should
think
have a gun range though. I mean, Grand Theft Auto has a gun range, and it's a full PU to run around in.
This whole interface that you see here is gone as well. You know that
seems a waste.
Completely,
Oh, the interface, yeah, but I was just like, there's something cool about. I thought it was quite cool, and I thought it was quite interesting to have like if you had your own like a fun thing in the hangar still, you know, like you could kind of test.
After 20 minutes, this got boring as well. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't spend 20 minutes in Grand Theft Auto's gun range, but there was something I just had never seen it before. I'd never seen it before, and I was like, wow, what happened to this? Where did that go?
I think it basically got replaced with Arena Commander. So if you wanted to test your guns, you get an Arena Commander. Although, like you said, there is an element that unless you're spawning ships, you can't actually test your guns in Arena Commander. So it's kind of could be, it could be useful. It could help you test your rate of fire, how much energy it uses. They could definitely have something like that and give it more feedback. So you can maybe have like a terminal that will be telling you how much ammo that's using, how long you can shoot it for. With you could tweak things with simulate your ship or something. It would be quite interesting.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think you could take that and then you could expand it a little bit and you could kind of play with it. I mean, I know for a fact that we're obviously probably going to get a lot of the information anyway through metadata, and then we're going to have obviously Zach and myself and other people going to free flight or whatever, and we'll test it out weapons, and we'll be able to tell just from flying them very quickly what's going to work in the PU, what's going to work in the Arena Commander. You know, it will happen anyway naturally, but I just saw it. I thought it was fun. I thought it might be something cool to do. And it seemed a bit of a shame to waste it.
When you had nothing but hangar, it was cool.
Yes, yes. And then the next
got
thing,
overruled by electronic access and that sort of stuff.
The next thing I saw was this. 30 grand was the prize winning for the next great starship.
I didn't know they got 30 grand.
30 grand prize money. That's a lot of cash. And I was just thinking to myself, and I was thinking, right, okay, is that split between 1, 2, 3, so between 4 people? That's not bad going. That's a good chunk of change. And I was thinking they need to do
anyway.
the next great land vehicle, but they don't need to open it up to everybody else because I've already got the idea for the next best land vehicle. So they don't need to open it up. Just give me the check. I'll accept it. It's not a problem. 15, 20 grand is fine. And it's exactly what I said. It's the Nomad meets the Shipjacker, war truck, Mad Max style, with a guy on top with a flaming guitar, just rocking out, and just that's it. It's done. So just send the check my way. Send it my way.
Are these the dudes that made the ugly space scissors?
That's my check.
Pretty much, yes.
Send it. So this was this was for the Redeemer.
If I was CIG, I would ask the money back. 30 grand. Fuck me.
Yeah. So again, little trip down memory lane. So I want them. I'd like them to do, like I said, like them to do that again. I think that was quite a good community thing. I think you could. I think I know why they didn't do it, because obviously it left them in an awkward position. Because then it's like, well, when we need to update the ship and we don't necessarily think it fits with any of the story of the buildings, then it's hard. But then they could do it for other things. It doesn't have to necessarily be
times now as well, man. As I think back when this was done, their spaceship building team was very small as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And now they have a full-on team that can produce these things even better than these boys. You know, and it's good to get the community involved.
Well,
but I think this ship, and this is just my personal opinion. You know, I'm not a fan of the Redeemer at all. So I know that these guys at CIG can make much better things than this. You know, and you're looking at how long ago? 3 years ago now.
This one, yeah, this was
2014.
Yeah.
I think maybe even earlier. You know, and It's just I hope they can get the Redeemer up to the level that and I have faith that they can, to the level of the ships that we have now, but it needs changes in my opinion. You know,
they will do. I'm sure they will do. So moving on again. So we now have the next thing with topic of conversation, which we're all going to chat about briefly, is the reasons why you need the 600 series. Yay!
This ship gets me going for some reason. I'm excited to see what it's going to be. Does anyone know? Is it like going to be a constellation variant for them, or what are we expecting? What's the word on the street?
I think originally it was meant to be Origins version /size Connie.
Okay.
But the price is quite high. It's higher than the Phoenix, and
this is it. This was my point. This is what my question is. Phoenix owners, what is it going to take you to jump from that to a 600? What would it take you to dump your Phoenix for a 600?
An 890 jump.
LTI.
An 890 jump would switch a Phoenix in for me if I would have a Phoenix, but I don't know. It's hard to say, Madness, you know, because we haven't really. No, we've seen some snaps here and there, you know. We've seen some hints, and I just want to see it, and I want to, you know, and then you can really make a decision. I think, you know, maybe a crossing in between the two.
Well, we will know soon enough.
Yeah, I mean, they've tried to say. I don't know why they didn't just come out and say it was a 600i when we all kind of know.
Yeah, I mean, they've been dropping hints for months. I mean, Ben's dropped it. Donkey's way, but Ben drops the 600 thing every so often, doesn't he? So
yeah,
that's a new thing since the Eclipse. These hints, right?
These little hints. These
little hints. I like it though, but yeah,
it's good. Sorry,
he's good. What did you want to say?
Yeah, I think if the 600 is going to be like a constellation-y type size or whatever, like versus the Phoenix, I think the Origin's just going to be like super clean. Obviously, you're going to pay extra for the luxury, but also the Phoenix has got like a hidden section that's like sensor damping, so you can't like scan cargo and stuff like from other ships. So I don't think like the 600i will have anything like that, because it's obviously not in the nature of the Origin ships. You know, it's like just like I say, super clean. So the Phoenix could be the choice for the smugglers of the two.
Yeah,
but the Phoenix was meant to be a luxury one though, wasn't it?
It is classed as luxury, yeah, but it's still got that like
it's the VIP. It's the VIP. If you've ever been to New York, if you ever go to New York, they've got the Prohibition bars and stuff there, and they all designed like libraries, and they have like luxury things, and then they've got the walls that literally are like look like they're just books and stuff, but then you open them up and then behind that is where all the drunk and all that shit's going on. It's the same thing. I can imagine. It's like it all looks, you've got your special clients that are probably coming on board to make friends with some special alien girlfriends.
It's going to be a mafia boss ship, basically. It's going to be a Tony Montana kind of ship where the 890 is more, here I am, bling bling, and it's what Zach says. The Phoenix is going to be something that you could use in the darker sides of space as well. You know what I mean, and get away with it.
And you also with the Phoenix, you do get the rover, the Lynx rover, and the little snub fighter too. So whether you get anything with the 600 on the same scale could be a clincher.
It's a lot pricier, so you would think so, wouldn't you? I mean, it's quite a big difference.
May come with an M50 in the back or something if it is a Connie style.
Listen, you can do dark shit in space while sitting in a bubble bath. Who doesn't want that? You know.
If it's going to be like a Constellation with a snub, it's going to have an X85 in the back, isn't it? Because that's the snub fighter for Origin.
For 890, yeah. 890 has two of them, I think, right?
Well, this is the thing is I hope that they don't put it like they've done the Connie, because they've obviously had problems, obviously, with the butt plug, basically. It would be better if they do it like, how you have like luxury boats and you have them like they would do now with the back kind of opens. Yeah, like a kind of, it has like a pad to land on or something to kind of attach to, rather than physically having to go, because they've already got that tech working. So it would make a hell of a lot more sense to have, doors or sort of kind of a cargo bay kind of effect of it going.
Maybe something like the Caterpillar, but then in a smaller iteration, you know what I mean, where it opens up and you can basically duck in, by pressing a button or something like that. It's not even flying in yourself, But the butt plug, I'm not a fan either, man. I
would be happy. I mean, I don't know if they could rework the Connie, but if they got rid of it and made it so that the ship actually went in the back and it had an open up at the back, and you actually, or maybe a cool doors did some like cool effect and opened at the back, and then you could actually fly your Merlin or whatever it is into the back of the Connie. Yeah. It might make the ship a bit bigger. But
the problem with putting it inside the ship is it becomes less of a quick drop ship. If you need it in battle, the whole point is so that it drops out quickly. It's a snub fighter. If you've got to go, hang on a minute, open the hangar doors, make sure everybody's out of the way so there's no atmosphere, but fly out.
They ain't got it working. They ain't got it working.
What? That means nothing. If they ain't got that working, what makes you think they're going to have the hangar doors opening and you landing it inside the ship working?
Because they've already shown us it for the Cutlass.
Well, Miss has a point, though.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
They're showing that, but it doesn't mean that's happening either.
Oh well, but I agree with what you're saying. I agree. You do want to have the ship to be able to, drop down, or then maybe Oh no, it's the same with docking. It's the same.
If you look at my YouTube video, I've had the Merlin dock ages ago. Fine.
Yeah. Docking, you had it.
I had it dropping out. I didn't have it docking, but
yeah. Well, we'll see. The United Jump has a landing pad in the front midsection for the 85X to land. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the bigger the ship, obviously it makes sense to have that. But I hear what you're saying, but I just think
you see what Sherman says.
If they can get it to work, what do you say? Doing interior storage is a lot easier to set up than external detachment. Yeah, exactly. Part of me is like,
we're not on about internal storage. We're on about flying it in, landing it, then storing it, then getting in there in emergency and pushing it back out its arse end.
No, I don't know. It would probably be quicker to make it so that the doors, maybe they could make the doors drop underneath your ship, so you could fly up into it and then the doors close.
How is that?
You already have that.
And then you land on.
I can't imagine how that would be easier than it just dropping off.
No, I mean in terms of the mechanics for them, because you could then maybe close the door and then they've got the pad. The lower bits would be where you'd put the. I don't know. I'm not a game developer. I'm spitballing here.
I'm just wondering, guys. Does the Phoenix have a snub fighter?
The Phoenix one.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes with a car and a snub.
All right, so you will never be able to do that as the Andromeda and what's the other one? The one that you have, Manus. Aquila both have the dropout. There is no dropout on a Phoenix because that is the high class bar, etc. So I wonder how they're gonna do that.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know. The honest truth is, I don't know where the snub fighter is on a Phoenix. If it's exactly the same as the Connie and just stuck in at the back.
I think so.
So if it
I
is,
guess so, yeah.
yeah, I would have thought they would have changed the mechanics for. So I would imagine it is just exactly the same. So it's going to be again, it's another ship in the back of a ship that is ship in the back that doesn't. They haven't got the mechanics working. So I understand exactly what Miz is saying, and I completely agree with you, Miz, in terms of you want to be able to jump into a ship and it literally detach like in Aliens or whatever. But then in Aliens, I was thinking the doors open of the ship and then the doors open and they drop, or the arm comes out, detaches, and then they drop down into the atmosphere. I can't remember exactly. I'll have to watch Aliens again.
Sure, man. Is there a lift on a Phoenix? I'm not very familiar with the Phoenix, so my apologies if I have that wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, but
if it drops off, there's less chance to have a collision. If you have to exit a hangar, there is more chance to hit shit. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm sure they're having all these conversations at CIG. I'm sure they've been sat in a table and they're probably laughing at us right now, going, "Yeah, we did that. We discussed that. We already talked about that. It doesn't work."
I mean, just as I said, in my opinion, it's meant to be something that can be dropped really quickly into a battle because you don't want to have to wait. Like the whole point is it's a defensive thing to defend your Connie as you're being attacked. So it's no good if you have to sit there and make sure there's no one within the area because they're going to get, gassed and everything else.
We just need a Big Benny's machine ejector in the back of our ship so we can throw Big Benny's machines at people.
Exploded ones, though. We can make them pack them with explosive rounds ready to just explode. That would be awesome. That would be absolutely like what's it called? The dam busters in Atmosphere. They bounce. Big Benny's bouncing along on the water. That'd be really cool. We have so hang on, let me dig up the document, see what we got next on the topic of conversations, because we've got some fun stuff.
Probably the Burndown, isn't it?
The Phoenix, yeah, we've got that.
When is the Phoenix planned for as a release?
Here we go, boys.
Remember that.
Here we go.
Just to quickly fall back on that one.
All right.
I don't know when they've it all depends on when they're doing the variants, isn't it? Can't remember when they said they were doing the variants.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about ships again, guys, for a little bit. So we're going to talk about the Freelancer.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the Cutlass. Cutlass is looking really good. It's going to be strong for 3.0. I think it's going to be the star ship for 3.0 in terms of doing everything. The Freelancer and the Cutlass are almost kind of the same in a way, because they're doing pretty much the same job. They're kind of cargo ships. They've got a bit of DPS. They're power. They're kind of smuggly ships. It's basically almost like a taste choice. The only difference is the Freelancer carries a bit more cargo, I believe, or should do. But this is just like
Cutlass.
Yeah, compared to the Cutlass.
I think compared to the new Cutlass, I'm not so sure.
Exactly. The new Cutlass is looking mighty big. So we've already talked about they're going to rework the Freelancer. They're going to make that shit bigger, I imagine, to fit more cargo in. They'll have to adjust things and adapt things. I wouldn't be surprised if the Freelancer ends up being able to fit the Tumbrel vehicles. I mean, this is just a spitballing guess, but I wouldn't be surprised if it fits those things.
Wouldn't the Max already do that?
I don't think the Cutlass does, but I think it would be cool if all the Freelancer variants could actually hold a Tumbrel. I think that would give it a selling point over the Cutlass. I think that would be a good thing for the ship. I think you got the Cutlass carries Dragonflies and Noxes and that stuff.
How tiny the Freelancer looked in that picture.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The one that just went past, there's a bloke standing in front of it. It's fucking tiny.
Yeah. Well, look at the original. So if you look at the original kind of the design of it and stuff. Now, I'm going to go back. I watched an old board game of video where he did the Freelancer. This is how I'm doing my homework, and he was first reviewing the version 1. I don't know if I've got the footage for it. Hang on, let me just see if I've got the footage for it.
It does look tiny on that picture.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
I mean, he's about the size of the cabin. There's not a lot of room in there, and the back was quite small.
That's the
it
interior.
Looks more like the Prospector, then.
Yeah.
So again, this is great. This is why I do this, because this shows you how much better.
Oh, I know.
Just look at this.
Like a Max or something, you still see this internals, and Jesus, the difference is astounding.
This was what I saw when I bought my first ship. This was my first buy and start since ever Freelancer Max. And the amount of hours I spent walking around up and down that ship is been amazing, And I'm still in love with it. I still can't wait to see what they're going to do with the Max.
But it's
rework-wise. I think it's already very close to at least the rework of the normal variant. It's not far off the of the Cutlass though, Madness. You know what
What's
I mean?
the price of the basic Lancer though?
Well,
110.
it was 110, but the Cutlass is going to go up in price. I cannot see the Cutlass staying at 110 at all.
I mean, if they're at similar, if the Cutlass doesn't go up, then I suppose they're pretty similar. But I still feel like the Cutlass has got more to offer. I mean, I don't know.
That's version 1. This was version 2, and then I'm looking forward to seeing what version 3 is. So this is the interior of version. So it's still it's still broken, but it's a huge difference in terms of styling, and the panoramic view is obviously there. They've decided to...
It's more in line with what the Starfarer is. This one, you know, I don't mind it too much, to be honest.
But you see the back. What I mean,
super similar.
But if you see the back with what I mean in terms of just being able to just drive straight in with a tumbrel or any kind of land kind of vehicle, if they made that wider and bigger, that would make, in my head, a lot more sense for this one to do that job, to take those type of vehicles, and the Cutlass be the one where, you know, you're a bounty hunter-esque, you know, you're a bit more, you know, it's a bit more of a pirate, it's a pirate ship, you know, the Cutlass technically in a way. You want to get to locations a bit quicker or whatever. It would make the Freelancer more sellable to some types of people.
It depends until we get the final stats of what the Cutlass is going to have, and in terms of like the, you know, cargo, shields, weapons, all that sort of shit. Because if you're going to compare them, we need to know what the actual, when we get that new ship matrix and actually see the stats, I suppose that will make the big difference.
Sense,
To me, the Cutlass looks like it has more room in the back now than the Freelance. But
yeah, board. Hang on, just for you, buddy. I think this was one of your old video footage. So I'm not sure. It might not be, but I was watching your old videos.
Anything with enough speed can get in there. That's true.
On the Freelance. This was, I think, was one of your old videos. You used to do, for everyone, go check out one of Board's old videos on the Freelancer. He used to actually have the text used to come up as well when he was like, with like literally massive walls of text on the screen, blinding me when I was like trying to record. I was like, stop it, Board! I can't copy your videos.
I can't steal your video.
I can't steal your videos. But yeah, what I like is, like I said, this is what we're talking about, the polishing, that, you know, they take the basics and they polished it and improved it, and then we get to version 2, and then I'll be very excited to see version 3. But I think there was somebody, maybe it's not here. There's I haven't got it here. There's a bit on the back of here. This bit here, I don't think you can see it very clear on my screen, but there's a bit here. This where the turret sits at the back, and it's the kind of lumpy bit sits over the top, and the turret almost points directly at the back of it.
They moved the turret back a bit.
I wasn't sure if they'd done that. I was curious. I was curious because it just seemed really stupid when I saw it. But I do like.
But but some people mind that the new way is you can't shoot down as much as you could have done when it was back. So it's restricted its view a bit. Version
8 by release. Do you think so? Do you think Board we're just going to have the same ships, the same
just keep getting them.
20 ships just polished and reworked and polished and reworked? Do you think how many? You think we get to version 8? That's interesting. I think that's obviously game. That must be game development. You obviously have the same thing. You just polish it. When I see films and stuff like that, and I'm just comparing. I know it's film and games different, so please don't shoot me. But I'll see the original sketch. I'll see a couple of drawings and designs, and then there's the final product. And I kind of, it's very different. It's very different.
Haven't you heard of Top and Tao, Sherman? That's what the Cutlass crew are going to be. That's what the Cutlass crew are going to be doing.
Nasty.
And that was it. And then just there was just some old footage of Gamescon. Like I said, like before, we were just going over the old content. So Gamescon from 2013, from when everyone's getting excited to the hangar, to the racing, to Gary Oldman talking, to the Idris walk, to the original, this is what I was saying about the original, some of the old tech demo, the very first tech demo. I was saying we want to get these purple board. We've got to get these board.
We are reliving the dream that's been the Star Citizen development.
Yeah. we are reliving
Building up the hype.
Rebuilding up the hype again. Excitement.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I get excited. I mean, this is what I want to see. Sorry, as a combat person, I want to be flying next to these big capital ships. I mean, if they showed us,
rays again, is that what he's on about?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Moving on. But if they bring that in, for CitizenCon this time, if they can show us, if they showed us,
For
Go
every
play
time
Star
that you
Wars.
saw, for every time that you
Idris.
saw the purple beams, you need to put a tenner in a jar from now.
all right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, so ATV Burndown, Soul.
Yes,
I
sir.
think we should. So with the Burndown, I think we should play like, do you know, like Deal or No Deal. We could say, is it a blocker or no blocker? Because like there was quite a few bugs on there, but I don't know whether we don't really know which ones are considered the blockers and which aren't. So
Or which one will become blocker?
blocker or no blocker. So
That's not completely. You know, you have criticals, but they become blockers still. They could become blockers. You know what I mean? Or the higher. It's going to be interesting.
yeah, I mean, last week we had 12 blockers, and this week we've still got 12 blockers. So. But I don't think the ones they were showing us were necessarily blockers. So.
Right. No, yeah. Let's do it. Blockers. No game or no deal. I'm just already getting a piece of card ready.
You're getting ready, are you?
I'm getting ready. I'm literally like, I'm just getting ready. I'm getting set up for this game. It sounds fun.
You make up a blocker and you have to work out if it's a real blocker or a fake. That's it.
It's fake. If we're being legit. So, go, Sol. You
I did the blockers.
Oh, you did the blockers. Go for it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Miss.
So basically, last week there was 83 blockers. This week there's 77 blockers. We've still got 37 critical, 23 high, and 5 moderate. Like you said, any of those can change into any other blocker or anything else. So that's the problem with half the bugs.
Okay.
So they had, obviously they showed in the feature of ATV lots of meetings going on, trying to coordinate, sort of dealing with the bugs, passing the builds on between the different studios, which obviously must be quite a headache for them as well, because they need to finish the end of their day, but they also need to finish the end of their day and be able to pass something on to another section of the company in a different country to carry on working on. Otherwise, it doesn't really work. So that was quite interesting to see, sort of behind some of the meetings. So the first one that we kind of come up against, I think, was the shopkeeper animation was causing issues. I think the animation guy said he didn't think far ahead enough.
Let's build it up. Let's go back again. So, okay, so the first blocker. I've got some music ready to go in the background for you.
We don't know if it's a blocker. The first bug. First one.
There we go. Go for it. First blocker.
Have you really got Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
You've got some cheese in the background. The first blocker is...
The first blocker was the shopkeeper animation causing issues. He put a box down and it slammed him in his face.
Right.
Deal blocker or no blocker?
Do you want to call a friend?
We can ask the audience.
Ask the audience.
Well, I think chat should tell us whether they think it's a blocker or not. So in chat, everyone put blocker if you think it was a blocker, no blocker if you think it was just a bug, but not.
You've got 1 minute from now.
EpicZaqq, what do you think?
Ready to go.
Do you know what we're talking about?
He's just like, I have no idea. There we go. Time is ticking. Do you want to ask a friend or go to the audience?
Do we have the timer music by any chance?
I don't think I've got timer music. No blocker.
How about you, Sol? What do you think?
How
Put him on the spot now.
No, but how important is that shopkeeper animation going to be? How big of a part of eventually a 3.0 or whatever is that shopkeeper going to be? You know what I mean?
What I mean is they say they got 12 blockers. Was this one of the blockers?
I would say no.
Madness?
No, I think it's not a blocker. I'm going in hard. I'd have no idea. I'm going in, just going to go no. Straight
we don't
away.
actually have the answers for this, but anyway. So yeah, I mean, I personally feel like it wasn't a blocker. I think it was a bug that needed to be fixed. I don't think it was blocking it to go onto live. And in my opinion, I think they should have left it in, because if you watch the video on the ATV shoot, it just slams the box in his face, and it's almost like any delivery guy that comes into an office that has a package. That's what they do. They just throw it at you. They don't care where you're leaning on the surface or not. You know, they could have just kept it in as a feature. It's not a blocker; it's a feature.
Next. All right, I've got a new timer ready to go, so we're going to start on the next one. So next one.
Hang on. So chat. What was chat's overall thing? No blocker. No blocker. No blocker. I think the consensus was that was a no blocker.
Yeah, Board Gamer went with blocker. He's 100% important. He was thinking so. He's quite smart.
Board
Ish.
counts for 2 votes.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll come up with the answers next week because we don't actually have the answers.
Yeah, we're going to go look back on this and then we'll come back. We'll ask, unless anyone from CIG is here, they can tell
Are you
us.
showing the video on the stream as well? Because the
Video?
links are actually there.
Oh, sorry. Hang on, my
I'm
apologies.
too busy with the music to actually
Sorry.
show what we're talking about.
Here we go.
Yeah, you need to show people the bugs so that
I-
we can decide.
Sorry. My bad. Here we go. There's the bugs. I didn't realize this. I thought we were just talking still.
No,
There it is.
Whatever.
Gotcha.
Fine, man. Don't worry
So-
about it.
I hate when the visual put something in my face so hard that my face goes through it. Why not?
So was the next
But,
one?
yeah, but even in the video, he's almost like peeking out the edge of it, saying, "What the fuck, man? Why have you put this on my table?"
Yeah, that is quite
It's like,
funny.
what the
It's
fuck?
like, what?
So that's what I thought was quite funny with it. It's like looking at
It
it.
was-
Does almost look like he's trying to look
Hey,
around
asshole.
it, going,
Get that? I was expecting like an
Asshole.
Eddie Murphy sketch, like when he pretends to have the paper bag with like explosives in or something, or it's explosives. It's his hand come out on the side. Yeah, look. Lisa's like,
he
what
almost
the
looks around it.
What the
What
fuck is
would be
this
very
shit, man?
cool, what Miss says, if we could have something that someone really throws that box there and someone's like, "Hey, dude, what the fuck?" You know what I mean? It would be pretty funny, to be honest. A couple of those puns in there, But it's what coming back on what Miss says. I don't think it's a real blocker. You know what I mean? It's not going to stop us from doing certain things. It's not going to stop us from doing a certain mission. It's not going to stop us from anything. So I would say it's a no blocker. The next one is similar. It's all animation bugs at the end of the day. That's what I found in watching the ATV this week. Most of it, what we see are animation bugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things clipping through things getting stuck in things. It's like,
What do we think then for this one?
So the next
What
one
do you
is shop interaction, basically. So they were getting animations to not that one. Sorry, shopkeeper. Was that? No, what one was it? It wasn't.
sitting down at the table. This
Cup
one.
one.
No, you've missed one with the
Which one did I miss?
shop interaction. Anyway,
Sorry,
We'll do that after this one.
this
I can come
one's.
back to it.
We'll do this one first. So the usables are basically all broken again. They said that the usables were fine. It was all working. You could go in, you could pick up a cup, etc., and it was fine. And now the usables are broken, and they push people out of the way. The reason that they're broken is that the objects themselves have collision, and you're getting a collision between the object and the person. So yeah, come on guys, blocker or no blocker? What do you think?
I think a no blocker. Just another glitch.
That's another glitch, so something that wouldn't
Yes.
stop it going to live. What about
I think-
chat? What do chat think? Blocker
I'm
or
going.
no?
I'm going blocker. I think it's a blocker. I think the fact that the animations and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think they need it to
That
work.
could create issues.
Things not clipping three things. I think they want certain degree you can get away with it, but blocker. Oh, here we go. Timer's up.
Yeah, I think for me on this one it's blocker because when you can see when he's done the collision, what's happening is it seems to have like a domino effect. So as soon as he has that thing that's knocking him out of his place on the seat, it then means that he moves differently. He's not following necessarily up the path that he's supposed to follow and things like that. So
It's a
could
good one what Imperial says. Imagine Miles Eckhart
Yeah.
picking up a cub and flying to the other side of the pub. You know what I mean? It's
Everyone's
gonna
looking for
work.
him. Goes, he was at this fucking seat. Where's he gone?
Where's he gone?
Yep.
Interesting. I think these are at the end of the day just examples, of what issues could be. Do you think they're gonna they would share all the blockers with us? You know what I mean?
No,
they can't
well-
really, because there's a lot of content that we probably don't know about where the blockers are sitting. You know what I mean? That we
I
are not
think
supposed to know about, or what is coming.
I think it's more a case of they're showing us what they've managed to fix or where they've come to the crux of the problem. They know what the problem is, so they're not showing they've got 77 bugs still. They're probably not showing them because they haven't fixed. So these ones that we're seeing are probably more likely to be ones that they've fixed or they know what's causing the issue, and then they want to show us that this is causing the issue. I mean, we're just having a bit of fun, you know. We're just sort of highlight, you know. It's Burndown. They're just showing you the bugs, okay? We're just trying to make it a little bit more.
We're exactly. We're having a bit of fun with it.
Don't take us too seriously.
We're having a little bit of fun with it, and it's interesting because it's nice to hear what you guys are saying. Because I'm just reading through the chat now. Depends on the situation. Safe bet though, if it doesn't expect act of God, unexpected internet dropping, pull your network cable, blaming, blah 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 blah. He's talking about that. Mega blocker. A lot of people think that obviously it is a blocker. Obviously having weird things going on. It's interesting to see what Board's saying. You guys are too used to having buggy alpha games. CRG are trying to make this one as polished as possible. I agree. I think that they do want 3.0 to be polished as anything, because this is the basic framework, isn't it, to work off of? This is it. This is the foundation. This is like the beginning blocks of the whole game.
And I think that we've had so much increased media attention as the years go by, and I think this is considered probably one of the biggest patches that we're going to be getting for a long time. It's the introduction of persistence, it's the introduction of showing all these different systems, you know, pretty huge chunk of what the game's going to be like.
PC Gamer Magazine, there's a lot of eyes on it at the moment, obviously.
So I think they need it to come out of the gate as polished as possible.
Because they've had there's been a lot of obviously, you know, a lot of negativity surrounding this year. You know, a lot of people obviously getting wrapped up on delays. I'm not going to talk about it. I don't have an issue with it, but you know, there's a lot of bad negativity that's been flying around with Star Citizen recently. And I think, you know, when I look back on all the old videos, I have to say I don't think it's justified to a degree. I think they're going to deliver a great game. When you see what they've done before, I think a lot of people forget. They lose focus. They lose sight. They just very short-sighted. Even I've been guilty of it. I hold my hands up and say, yeah, I've done that. But when you go back over the old video, you realize, you know, you got to trust them. You got to look at what they've delivered in the past. Gamescom Friday is going to be a big day for them. I'm expecting to see some amazing future product from them. I'm hoping to see, if we see a really great polished version, I know I've said before it wouldn't be great, but a really great polished version demo of 3.0 with Levski looking fantastic, and then they show us something for Squadron 42, fuck me, it'll be a good game.
Can I ask you guys a question? And this is for all of you. So
and 600 as well.
We got Gamescom coming up now, and we got SitCon very soon after. How do you think they're going to divide the information they're going to give? Or do you think they're going to throw everything out at Gamescom? You think they're going to leave some stuff for CitizenCon? Or do you think they're just going in depth on CitizenCon on it? What are you guys thinking? What we could see in
I think we'll see a lot. Personally, I'm just going to answer first. I think we're going to see a lot, because this is not like CitizenCon is an internal thing for us lot, whereas Gamescom is for the bigger audience. You know, in a sense, it's like, you know, it's for the
they're going to show off what
industry.
they can. That's going to sell the product.
Oh yeah.
They did it last year.
It's going to be a lot of 3.0.
It meant that CitizenCon people were somehow a little bit let down, even though CitizenCon was still fantastic. We had Planetary, you know, all the rest of it looked incredible. For some reason, people were still let down for some reason because they didn't see Squadron 42, which I actually kind of don't understand, but whatever. So for me, they're going to show the best that they've got now. They always do. It's in their interest to show the best. So.
I think in the reactions that we had from both Chris and other staff members on the recent, you know, the naysayers, they're going to want to sweep the floor with the naysayers, you know, and I think they're taking the time, and at some point when 3.0 hits, they're going to slap all those naysayers in the face with a shovel, you know what I mean? And they're going to say, here you go, you know.
Yeah,
but that's partly why I think they want it as polished as possible, because
exactly,
the patch they can just say, well, there it is, it's working. It's got all the core. It's got the core features that we want, and now it's just building upon those features.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, it's still got to be full of bugs though to report.
I expect at least a month minimum of EpicZaqq. At least
I don't.
Of EpicZaqq.
I think a couple of weeks.
2 weeks.
You think it's going to be that polished before?
I think it should be. I think it probably needs a month, but in the past they've not really. They've kind of rolled things out pretty quickly, too quickly in my opinion. But I think it's going to be the same here, because people are going to be so desperate to play it. When they hear that EpicZaqq got it, I don't think EpicZaqq will have it for too long. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Cool. Okay.
As long as it's paid to you, so we can all get on it. And
yeah, exactly. That's it.
Yeah, they might not go complete live, but they may roll it out to the other PTU waves a lot quicker.
Yeah.
I think they'll find like a lot of people subscribing just to get that PTO access and the
Yeah, just a
ladder
tad.
waves and
Can
stuff.
you imagine it?
That's
I mean,
me.
they did it before, didn't
That's
they? You
me.
imagine it for 3.0.
You need to stress test it with the masses anyway. You know what I mean? We've seen it in previous patches as well, where in the Evocati things were all right, and then when it came onto the PTU, the thing died instantly. You know, because of people logging in, out, really misusing it basically, and that really.
Yeah.
I think it's not bad to roll out early so you can see, okay, what can the 3.0 handle in regards of people, let's say, misusing it, you know what I mean, and not even intentionally, but it's a really good stress test, I think, before they can roll it out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
but,
go for it. Sorry.
Sorry, mate. But for me, like Gamescom should be all about 3.0. Like everyone wants to see 3.0. Like everyone's champing at the bit for it, and then for CitizenCon, which is like, I think that's the biggest one for us. I think they should just show like more core game mechanics, like interdiction and things, and how scanning's going to work, if it's even like up to date yet or whatnot.
Show the reclaimer working. Show the reclaimer crushing a ship and actually doing its animations rather than just being a spaceship. Actually show that mechanic working. That would be amazing. I think if people could actually see it.
We've seen like all the ships that are coming and stuff, and
mining.
We have multiple ships like that, man.
Show mining for CitizenCon. The prospector working and mining working really well, and all that mechanic and farming would be fun. Just saying, throwing it out there, farming, get it in there. We've got all these plants.
Oh yeah, and I think we've seen in Thursday's ATV or Friday's ATV for some of us how the stations are going to look and what different kind of stations we're going to get, which I found really damn cool. And next to what you said, to clip into what you said, Madness, next to the Reclaimer, we have a Starfarer with fuel tanks that basically do nothing yet, you know. But I think these things will come in later, you know what I mean? I think they want the models to be out there now, and until they really decided how this ship crushing is going to work, to probably come back on that. I would love to see it sooner rather than later, but I don't think they really have thought about how is it eventually going to work. Maybe they want to finish more before they're going to say, okay, then that is going to work. It will probably be a ship for now, just like the Starfarer is just a transport ship at the moment, because all the other functions are not really working, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the Farer is like one of the biggest examples of like game mechanics that aren't in yet, and the ship's been out for like God knows how long. So.
Oh man, really long. So I don't think we're gonna see this Reclaimer working anytime soon. It will be flyable. I don't think we will see. Maybe the inner components are working and turning, but we won't see any grappling. That's what I think. I hope we do, but
I hope this is what I'm saying about future, you know, like technology. I'm very interested to see how they're going to solve that problem. I'd love to see the tech that they're going to be doing. I mean, maybe we'll just see an ATV, but it would be sweet to see it finished, looking beautiful in CitizenCon, doing something cool. But they won't. They'll probably stick to more big picture, beautiful stuff. So the next thing on the Burnout was which we'll go back again.
The shop.
Was this the
shop interaction? It's not so much. I don't know if they were showing it as a bug or whether they were just kind of showing it working, but it was basically getting the animation to line up with subsumption, so that if you approached the character, they would react to you accordingly. I presume if you're a criminal, they would react to you as a criminal. If you're not, then they would look at you. If they got a mission for you, it was to do with them looking at you if you were standing at a different position, that sort of thing. So as to me, they said it took like thousands of man hours just to get this to work. It took involved 60 odd people to get it to work, because there's so many different aspects of getting that to actually work. It's I don't know if they were kind of showing it as a bug or just something that they were just showing off that took them a long time to work on. But I thought that was it was an interesting thing to see, and it would be nice to see it in 3.0, because there's quite a few games that you play now that basically you go and you interact with the shopkeeper or you interact with anything, and they just the whole player kind of glitches and turns to face you, and you don't feel like it's recognizing you as such. Whereas I don't think I've played a game, maybe some single player games or something, where they actually turn and look at you and face you properly. You know, it's like feel like you're part of the actual universe rather than just another person clicking on them. Though I don't know how it'll work if they're looking at you and then someone else goes up and has a conversation with them.
Yeah. So I'm just bringing something.
Got that line of people waiting.
I'm bringing in this. This is what I liked about this video that you showed is the fact that the lighting. We were talking about. We've seen the old videos, which I think is really good. We showed that earlier. You see the old videos, and then we've got, the way that they've lit it, and everything looks really cool and interesting, and it just reminds me, harkens to my kind of like childhood of growing up watching Star Trek, and the way that they would set dress with lighting. The guy who did Star Trek original season, they had no budget, and the way they used the lights to make every scene seem different, and the way that they lit everything was fantastic. It really gave the show its dimension and feel and fit and all the rest of it. And so when I see this with the purple lights, again, I know everything with the purple, and the way that they've kind of got multiple colors of lights coming through and stuff.
That's a tenner in my PayPal later.
It just makes it elevates it all. And the detail on her is fantastic. Yeah. Again, compared to what we saw before, it's really stepped forward again, and I'm really excited in another year's time to see where we're at in another year's time. It's going to be even. I
mean, what's amazing is the facial expressions and the way the character's talking to you. Is actually the face should react to how it's supposed to react to you, rather than just a bland shopkeeper talking to you.
Stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah, staring into nothingness.
It's like a nail in Andromeda, another nail in Andromeda's coffin right there. That's for sure.
It all ties in what we said in previous podcasts, where we were saying, okay, we want to see what's the city called where Eckhart is in? Levski. We want to see that alive. We want to see people there busy, this and that. This is just adding to what we want to see, and the use of lighting and different colors, etc.
I wonder how
going to really determine the mood.
They're going to drop. I imagine, because I look at when they do these little kind of like little pods of things. I wonder if she is ultimately an object container that's dropped in the map. You know what I mean? Like they build a little mini set for her and then they drop it. I'm just talking about game construction now, but. You know what I mean? They set it separately, and then they make an object container with her inside the shop with all the little object containers. I'm learning about how to make games from this game. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Oh yeah.
The next thing was.
So the next thing was it's kind of linked to that actually, because they were saying that they had more problems with Miles Eckhart, because obviously. The one we just looked at, she talks to you, she looks at you and things like that. But she is still a static shopkeeper. And what they were saying was that the shopkeeper can basically, or any NPC like that, can say their lines that they're programmed to say, doing whatever they want to do. So if they want to talk to you and look over to the other side, they can carry on talking to you. If they want to, because they're just saying, oh, do you want to buy this ship, or do you want to look at this box, whatever, they can do that in any action they're doing. So it's quite easy for them to set up. However, with Miles Eckhart, what they're trying to do is a more cinematic feel, I suppose is the right way of saying it. So they want him to not only just deliver the lines, they want him to act. So if he's whispering to you, he's going to lean forward and he's going to whisper to you in your ear. If he feels that you're dodgy for some reason, he may well lean back. So it's causing them a ton more problems, because they have to make sure that they fill the animations and fit them with the scenario that he's reacting to.
The dirty bugger is dodgy himself.
That's all right. But if you're dodgy and he's dodgy, you're still going to sit back and go, whoa, don't go nowhere near this man.
Not his power struggles with him.
So they've kind of set up the they've set themselves up a monumental task again. It's almost like they just don't settle for just a normal. It's like, nope.
Yeah,
we're gonna push it another level. We're gonna take it to another level.
It's the thing with Miles being a really big focal point for the missions and stuff. They're obviously going the extra mile to make sure he's spot on for us.
Yeah, exactly. It's the difference between just a shopkeeper that you sell your goods to an actual mission giver, someone that's going to make that universe more believable. I mean, even the shopkeeper's extreme detail, but yeah, it's to make you get, because it's basically this storytelling. So his body actions, his movements are all part of the storytelling.
going to be interesting to see, guys. It's going to be really
And
interesting.
all
to see.
I think so. What they were trying to say was they just had obviously a ton more work and effort needed to go into him than it would do to an ordinary shopkeeper.
Yes.
You
He,
see,
he looks
worth it,
amazing
yeah?
already. He looks amazing already. I mean, but they've been working on him for a year, so.
it's what Zach says. You know, it's going to be a big. It's going to be. I think a lot of players will be around him. There will be a bustling environment around him that all needs to be polished properly. You know.
Okay, so I didn't bother putting a picture on this one, but the next bug that we had was the highlight system problems. There wasn't a lot to show, but basically because your gun is made up of like different components, like the gun itself, you can attach a scope, and you can attach ammo, clips and things like that. So the gun was highlighting, but the attachments weren't. So I don't know. You know, what do you think? Blocker or not blocker? Blocker or no blocker?
I think that might be a blocker, especially if they want to initiate PvP. You know what I mean? It's
What
gonna.
have you done with all the
depends on the-
cameras?
Sorry, yeah, I messed up with the. Sorry, there's nothing. I just put accidentally a screen came on.
We are experiencing technical difficulties.
We are experiencing. Oh, it's just.
We are
no, it's
expressing the
just-
blocker.
it's lots of
so We can
windows.
no longer broadcast while this blocker is happening.
There's lots,
We got a
lots
blocker.
of windows. There's loads of windows everywhere. That is fine. It's all good.
What have you done? We're all in Solitary's bubble at the moment.
Madness is trying to cover it up as well.
Oh,
Oh, good.
Shit.
Oh, good.
oh my God! You fucking. Whoa,
That's what
sorry.
I'm saying. You totally screwed it.
No. What the fuck? I thought it was fine.
No.
Oh my
So yeah,
God.
come on and chat. Let me know what you think, whether that was a blocker or not a blocker. But it's basically the highlighting of the guns. Personally, I don't see why it would be a blocker,
God.
one of the main blockers to stop it coming out, compared to some of the other stuff we've seen. I think it's just one of the bugs that they had issues with.
Yeah, I don't think that's a blocker at all. Just some highlighting stuff.
Mm. Oh, what a soul, but he didn't hear a word of that.
Sorry, guys.
Madness is panicking.
Fixed.
So-
Fixed. It's
Oh!
all good. Fixed it.
There
Magic.
we are.
Get in.
Nice
It's
one.
like a smooth professional. He fixed it in one button. Woo. Fucking hell.
No blocker.
If only
Panicking.
Star Citizen bugs were that
I
easy.
know. We're just giving them a
Without
demo.
free photos.
That's how you do it right there. That's exactly how you. That's how I roll. In one button, pass. It's fixed. CRG, I'm available. I'm available. Come hire me. It's not a problem.
But you cocked up in the first place.
He can make shoes for you.
Put him
Just,
in the
fun.
sweatshop.
Just put me on the stand at the front of the stand. I'll bring all of the everyone that wants to be there will come because I'm there. It's fun.
Listen, you'll be a blocker at the front door. Man.
Okay, so chat didn't bother with that one, but we're going with a non-blocker, I think, on that. So the next thing that they discussed, again, there was nothing to show. They basically, I mean, this was quite not funny for them, I imagine, but they stood around in a group having a little group meeting, and the words that came out were something like, "The shopping doesn't work." The UI doesn't work. They said that pretty much nothing's working on it.
So we have a new reason.
I would say that was a blocker, yeah. I would definitely.
That's a blocker.
So blocker or no blocker, shopping not working at all.
I mean, how does that happen though? Because like, did they just? Do you think they just added it into the coding and then it's gone? Nope, not going to work.
It just said, I don't know. They sounded like they had a test session for it. So whether I don't know how they were doing it, but they laid out a test session and they just said it didn't go well. Most of the UI just didn't work or wasn't fully established. So I suppose they hadn't added enough stuff in for it to buy stuff, sell stuff. I mean, we haven't been totally told what's going to be involved in the buying and selling, what we are actually going to be able to buy and sell, have we? So it's hard for us to speculate on that, but I would definitely be, in my opinion, this one's definitely a blocker. if the whole premise of buying and selling shit isn't working.
It's a little bit off topic, guys, but we have a new reason to buy a 600.
Oh really? What's that?
Yes, I'll put it in the media to go live for you.
Okay.
The link.
Media to go live. Yeah. By the way, guys, if there's anyone's got like hot stuffs come in from today that maybe you guys want to talk about or anything, please feel free
It's on
to
screen now. It's on screen now. Hot stuff,
chuck
man.
it in chat. Yeah, I mean, obviously, selfies. Keep the selfies away. I will sign. I will sign autographs at the end of the show. Not a problem. Just give me your details. It's fine. I do make requests. I can appear at parties. I'm fully available to come for social gathering. Right, we've got.
If you do have any questions for us as a podcast, we'll just walk all over what man.
And we'll do the questions.
If you have any questions, exclamation mark question. Make sure you get them in. We'll do them at the end of the show. And for example, that the link that Nick's just put up on that, it's basically saying that it is in competition with a constellation. Pretty much what that's saying.
Yep.
So that's good. So we know now. Well, we knew anyway, but it's good to know that that's what it's competing against. Competing against.
Is this saying is going to be completely white? Is
that what it's saying? It's just going to be a white dot.
A white dot. Yeah.
If you zoom in on that picture,
because the constellation is very grayish, a bit more darkish. Maybe this is going to be, like an Apple, for example, an Apple phone, like sleek white or sleek dark black. You know what I mean?
That's...
It's like
white apples.
So hang on, how much is it? Oh, okay, so an Aquila currently costs $275. Okay.
For $433, this thing is going to cost you.
So how can that compete? How can that financially compete with a Connie? Then it can.
I don't know. But that's what they're saying. Until we know, I don't know.
It's the same deal with potentially if the Cutlass ends up being say $250. I'm just hype. To say the Cutlass new rework became £200 and the current freelancer is 100, then the competition then. I mean, at the moment, obviously all the ships have become free eventually, or just grinding. So
free? Fuck me. I'll wait till then.
I know.
Login and all ships are free.
I know.
Nice.
I hoped that in 3.0 that they would make us able to rent with AUEC the ships in the game. All of the ships.
I would, but they still haven't said anything. I can't see it.
Please make that happen.
Do we have a free fly weekend this weekend for Gamescon, or don't we?
No confirmation, so I doubt it. Because they would have probably said it in ATV, so looks not. But it's possible, but it looks. The reason they probably haven't is because we don't have 3.0, and if they show 3.0 stuff off, people are going to go, "Oh, yeah, we'll have that." So they may wait till 3.0 drops and then give a free flight. Anyway, so the next bug on the Burndown was we want to know, guys, do you think this is a blocker or no blocker? The doors are floating away.
Blocker, dude.
It's their flagship, the constellation, basically. So it's definitely a blocker. You know what I mean?
What was that, EpicZaqq?
Oh,
definitely a blocker, that dude. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see why. Who needs doors? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's definitely a blocker. So, I mean, part of the reason they said that they were having issues with this was that the doors are so much more than a door, apparently. It's because they got to keep atmosphere in. And
potato, it's all the same.
Well, if you saw that old video which I was showing earlier from Gamescom, they showed the atmosphere in one of the buildings where one of the ships, I think it was the Idris, or some ship gets attacked, Connie or something, and the guy's like hanging on to the. It's the one where they crashed twice in the presentation. Does anyone remember that? They showed the presentation twice and it crashed. The guy fell out of the ship. That was the video. They showed the atmosphere then, so I can only imagine how much more complicated it is now.
Do you think the door at our office, the RSI door that they have, does
that float away? just see it floating out the side of the building. Go, fuck's sake, it's affecting all the doors.
Do you know what? That would be so funny. They should get like hair dryers or one of those like wind blowing machines and stand on one of the sides of the door and have the team kind of like hanging on and like getting blown out the door. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious.
But it's obviously that's a major blocker for them. They just have doors floating everywhere, which would be quite funny to see, but less likely to allow through. And I don't know, they didn't mention about fixing it, as far as I can tell. So this could be why we still got 12 blockers.
Keep my hot tub nice. Right.
So the next issue. Hang on, let me have a look. When they started the project. I don't know. Oh, I think I just mentioned that a lot of the stuff that they're working on now is because they've had to go back and redo a lot of when they first started the project. Like we showed earlier, there was only like 9 in the team. It was obviously a lot more small scale.
Yeah.
Half the stuff that they're doing now was just a pipe dream to them. They didn't think that they were going to be able to do. So all these things that we're saying, oh, why is there delays? Why is there delays? They're saying that half the shit they just put it in and said, oh, that'll do. It looks good. It works all right. It's not great. And technically back then it would have been fine, but now as detail have got so much more, we've got so much more high fidelity. Oh shit, take a drink. They've had to go back and they've had to go and redo stuff, and they've said it's been quite good. It's been good to be able to go back to their old work and look at how to improve it and how to make it better. But that's been causing them obviously a lot of slowdown because they just didn't think that they were going to be where they are now, especially with the back-in terms and how much money they've raised. So that was less an issue and more what's been holding them up, I suppose. I don't have much to say on that. The next point was we saw, I can't remember his name, but he was showing off the internal build of what I think was the Delta Patcher. So basically he said that they got a new build of 3.0, clicked a button, and then within like a minute he downloaded the next build ready for them to test. So I think that was kind of showing that the Delta Patcher was working, which is awesome.
Which is great.
And he was just talking about how it was now only downloading the files. It checked all the files that they had, and then it just downloaded the files that they needed. So that's what we're all waiting for. This could well be one of the issues that maybe they're a blocker. Maybe they're holding it back until they get this Delta Patcher to work. What do people think on that? Do they think that's what one of the reasons they're holding it back or not?
Delta Patcher is a big thing, though. We jumped on it last week or the week before. This is so needed. I think for me, if I look at it, I think it's one of the most important things that you want to get in to get the general public to play the game. You know what I mean? It's so needed, needed, and even for themselves, to make things for themselves so much easier. Look at all the uploads that you have to do to your Amazon server, which costs a shit ton of cash. You know what I mean? It's like it's going to make things all across the board a lot easier. So I think it's for me. It's although I have a very quick connection and can download Star Citizen in about 10 minutes, I still think for the general people, this is the most important thing there is. I
don't think it's the most important thing for me. It's the most important thing for me is getting that truck in. But other than that, it's up there, as it's up there in the top.
Getting what in?
The truck. I need that War Machine truck, and also getting my HUD back on my Gladius. Those two things.
That's another tenner in my paper.
Those the Gladius.
Those are my two.
No Gladius today. No Gladius today, please. You own a Saber now, do you?
I do have a Saber, and
then stop moaning about the Gladius.
And I'm grumbling about this. Nothing about the Saber's bad, other than the guns in the view are terrible.
I'm getting attacked by fucking flies.
Yeah, I think it's definitely in the top things. So I agree with you.
I personally think it's one of the reasons why they're holding it back. I could be wrong, but I think not holding it back. Sorry, that's the wrong thing to say. But I think that's one of the blockers, if you like. I think that's one of the things that they want to get out. They want to include it with 3.0. I think. Yeah. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I think that's my opinion. I think that's part of what they want.
I think it might even go so far that they can't even release it without the Delta Patcher being there. I think they might even have built 3.0 and its upcoming iterations 3.1, 3.2 around the existence of the Delta Patcher.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's going to be great for all those people with bad internet. We're going to get lots more of them in the game to be decent. So
listen, there's not a lot of people that have a line like myself, so I think it's really important to get that. A good mate of mine and a mod of mine, Ramt, for example, he says, I'm not playing because I constantly have to download 60 gig patches, which takes me about 10 hours, you know what I mean, which is, you're missing out, and those are your early backers. Those are your 2012 backers, that don't have access to lines like that, and that is the majority at the end of the day, and these people are important,
Yeah,
it's
Absolutely. It's we've spoken about it many times. The Delta Patcher is very important. It's nice to see the launcher updated that they showed us recently. It needs to be in. It sounds fantastic. They've got it working now because they've been talking a lot about internal testing. So now to be saying that they've been able to do it quickly is great. Now they just need to fix those bugs, and then it'll all be there. It'll be. Oh, you still drinking the old? Nice. You might have noticed I'm not actually drinking tonight.
What's going on? You're right.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
We're just offering space wine out to everybody.
Yeah, space wine. Check it out. Asda's best.
Yeah. So anyway, I think the last one then, chat. Okay. So come on now. Let's get some participation from you, all you lazy sods.
Hang on.
Do you think this is a blocker or a non-blocker? So one of the bugs that they were having, and they mentioned at the end, was that two people jumping to the same point caused them to crash into each other, and sometimes hitting asteroids on the way, and also exploding. And finally, they said that sometimes when they jumped to a certain point, they actually jumped into the star and became the star. Now, do we think that's a blocker or a no blocker?
We're all stars at the end of the day, you know what I
Here
mean?
we go, guys. Countdown. The clock is thinking.
Countdown.
Think about it. Think about it. Discuss. Ask other members of the audience. Don't ask me. I haven't got a clue.
Can we call my mom for this one?
You can call your mum.
Where's my
Hang on a minute.
phone?
Hang on a minute. I'll just get her. I'll get your mum. Hang on.
Yeah.
Soul's
I
mum.
think.
It's definitely a block. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be jumping bishops into the sun.
Why not? I think that'd be so much fun. Wouldn't that be just cool? To just so like you both jump to the same point and then you blow up. Good. That's good fun.
Probably cool the first time it might happen, dude, but
Yeah.
it's going to happen every time you jump somewhere.
That's true. So I do. Yeah, I agree. I do think it's one of the major blockers. But I also think it would be quite fun to be able to play around with it for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, hitting asteroids, that's got to be quite... you do a quantum jump and just asteroids start smacking into you as you're going along.
Already hitting asteroids, and I'm not even trying, so... It wouldn't change the game that much to me, to be honest. It really wouldn't. What was the overriding feel? Everyone's just like...
The overriding feel was two people said blocker, basically.
Yeah.
So
Okay, there
they
we
can't
go.
be asked to join in.
Woo! Sucker. They're all like, yeah, no.
Yeah, you don't want to get involved. Let them talk shit, like they always do.
Yeah, just that's right. So slag off the audience. Get in there. That's what
No, I'm slagging off ourselves.
Oh, okay. Creating bad
Basically.
content. Oh, it's awful.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, it's
so-
alright.
So you're up, mate. You did this,
Yeah,
bit, didn't you?
Surface Outpost, man. What did you guys think?
Right,
What?
hang on.
I loved
Bring
it,
them
and I heard I've
bring it
heard
up.
mixed things about Thursday's ATV. Some people said there wasn't a lot in there. I think we're seeing more of what we've seen before, and I think we're really getting to see the different iterations of the different moods, as we discussed earlier, the different brands. And this is something, obviously, with me starting with my own graphic design company within their brand recognition and how to develop brands. I think it's really nice to see that we're going to get these things in Star Citizen now as well. We had it on the ships, where you had the Drake was a certain feel, and the Freelancer was, or the what's it called, Misk was a certain feel, and we're seeing it back now in the Outpost as well, which is really great. I don't know if you can play
Yep.
the first bit,
Yep.
Manners, and we have a first look into it.
I'm just setting it all up for you, buddy. There
No
we go.
worries. You are a star.
There you go. So we got it
in
up. So
a
the first
reasonably
one.
priced car.
Yeah.
So the first one basically, and this is my first time working with Streamable, by the way.
Yeah. It's cool. Done a good job.
I hope it's. I'm normally a Giphy Cap kind of guy. So basically, and I think that if you can play the second two afterwards as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
here they started basically talking about placement. Why is a good place to place the outposts? And he also said basically he would find a place to put an outpost, and 5 minutes later he would find a better place. And that's something that I found interesting. This guy was being really anal about where the outpost is going to be, and I like to see that sort of stuff. I like to see that sort of stuff. The Riari one I found very interesting, and I think the third one is something that Madness is on about, been on about for a while. So the Riari one is more, and they described it a couple of times in the video where they said the Riari one is more the one where they treat their employees right. You know, there's comfort in the buildings, research for medicines, etc. And then you had the other two one. I think the Arcop one they mentioned, and forgive me, I forgot the name of the other one. Did I put it in? Did I put it in the doc? Shubin. The Shubin was a bit more medium spec, basically, which I found very interesting how they did that. I don't know how you guys felt about that.
You mean in terms of how they tried to make it feel more oppressive compared to like some of the other?
Do you think we're going to be able to choose which one we would want, or do you think it's going to be the outpost that we're going to run into, basically?
I think you can.
I think they're going to be set.
Yeah. Oh, you'll be able to control them, but you won't be able to. I don't think you'll be able to change them right yet. Yeah, for sure. You'll be able to say this is my. You might be able to say this is my area, perhaps, or I can control this space.
Which one do you guys think is going to be the most? So. And I compared it to a show. I was thinking about it this morning. So you have, for example, a javelin. Everyone wants a javelin, but not everyone wants a what's the small one called? The Aurora, for example. Do you think we're gonna have a run on these nice-looking outposts, and the other one are going to be a second in class, or do you think people are really going to say like, oh, this more fits my playstyle?
I think that's the whole point where they have such a variety, so that it fits all the people's different. You know, and not some people might want the javelin, some people might want the Idris. I think it's this is the whole point of having variety. I mean, ultimately they'll get to a place where we have customization, so they'll be able to. We'll be able to ultimately customize to what we want to.
You think it will come to a point where you have a certain commodity on a planet or a certain place on the planet that is a really first-class place, you know, a high value place that we will be able to interchange them with each other?
I think we'll be able to do base building, mate.
Personally, I think you're looking at it kind of the wrong way at the moment. This is the first iteration of the bases, and these are just 3 or 4 companies that are available. And I think we're not going to choose anything. These are just going to be your missions. One of your missions may be go and deliver medicines to an outpost on one of the moons, and then you go there, and it's obviously the medical center.
I totally agree with what you say, but I just try to think on the future. You know, what?
You mean in future? Well, I think in future
crafting on what are we going to be able to do with them? Are we going to be able to interchange them?
They've said so.
Well, I think you won't use a certain companies. You'll have potentially your own or your own brand or your own org. I think
the independent one, basically.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
Unless you rent space to use them in or something.
That's what I was thinking. Can you rent space? Can you then, when you rented it, change it, or is it going to stay as you rent it? You know, it's going to be an interesting one. You know what I mean? And what you know, location is a big thing as well. I think location and everything is a big thing in all the big MMOs. You know,
it all depends on. I mean, as well. I think this is like they're creating a world for us to enjoy. So we won't be able. There will be. I think there's going to be a degree of limitation in what we can change because ultimately there's lore. So there are areas. Areas of space which are predetermined to be a certain type of thing. You know, whether it's pirate space or if it's Geon space. We can't suddenly rock in and start building tons of UE.
No. But that's what he said as well. You know, that's what he said.
Why not? You own it. Why can't you put it where you want? They might come and blow it up, but
I think
technically, why not?
Technically you couldn't, but maybe, you know, if you were going, you could go into the realms of like, well, the land isn't yours. You have to go through the process of buying the land, right? So maybe if you sold the land, then maybe you could do it then, but then it'll be limited to certain areas, or maybe I don't know.
It depends.
I don't know, but I know what you're saying in terms of having the freedom, but then you also want to keep
a little bit whether we buy the pods and transport those pods to a planet, or whether you buy the pods on the planet. Because if you're going to buy them on the planet, then it'll be whoever owns that planet, or whoever, like you said, it'll be set.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can attach all those to like a whole E and travel with this base in parts and then build your own, you could technically build whatever one you want wherever you want.
I think the first one is going to be more likely because of the type of game that they've got right now. It may be the end goal, maybe to have that. What you're talking about, full customization of building base. I think it'd be more likely they'd eventually be able to build bases of different types in all different types of space. But I think building on planets, It's kind of like I want that, but I think right now it will be more controlling things that are already predetermined, and it might be.
I think it's good.
Changing.
I think it's good, the controlling of things. You know, we discussed it a while back, where we said someone painted his freaking his transport wagon in Black Desert Online freaking pink. You know what I mean? It's like there needs to be a certain amount of control as well. And I think what we the first iteration, as Madness says, is going to be at certain places, and what Miss said as well, is where we go to deliver stuff and come back. I don't think this is going to be maybe play your own stuff. I was just thinking, okay, what will be the possibilities for us in the future? You know, it's something that we can occupy indeed, and which creates a certain income for us, and then in a certain PvP time, someone else can try and take it over, or maybe 24/7 someone else can try and take it over.
Well, see, when I see this, these type of buildings here, like the way that they've kind of got this set up and stuff, the way that they built that right at the beginning, where is it? Or is it at the end? Yeah, when they built this, all I can easily see, all I need now is just those circular pods with the farming bit attached to a side here, where they kind of got like agricultural type thing, where you can kind of have.
But it's basically in that round circle at the moment as we speak.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
Like
think they
on
have the iteration of the biodomes
yeah,
yet.
just chuck a couple biodomes on the side here, which are detachable and can attach to the Endeavor, and you know you've got yourself a portable. Like you said, you could potentially build this Bapesmith and transport it around with you. You know, it's like a landing pad, which is, I mean, it's cool. And they've got these are the.
It'd be nice if we can get kind of like Osiris. I don't know if you've tried that. Building a bit like that would be kind of cool.
You know what it is, man. Then you look at how much freedom are you going to give people. You know what I mean? Because some people have a very, very fucking creative mind, and that not always settles in with the lore or the feel of the game. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe they'll do mod packs. You know, like they'll do the like you know they'll make it so that for the modding community, because I know Chris is a fan, he'll set up mod packs, and you'll be able to do modding, and it might be slightly separate or different servers.
Hopefully that is client side and not server side.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be exactly. It'll be it could be set up like that.
You still want to keep a feel, you know.
Like the outpost should be done by standings as well. Like, so if you've got a really bad standings with like one of the companies that owns the outpost, like you shouldn't be able to even access it and go in and stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree. That would be.
And then
you get like a key card or something.
And then getting onto like the future theory crafting stuff, if we are going to be able to like own bases or anything, it's probably not going to be in the UAE space, right? It's going to be in the unclaimed outskirts of like where you've got your big org with you to back you up and stuff, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, and don't forget these planets are huge.
Oh yeah. They're going to be huge.
I mean, they could easily restrict if they wanted to try and keep it more within the law. Then it's probably easy enough for them to restrict. So, for example, if you use on the medical place, there might be a way to just say only medical buildings can go down, so you get the cleaner looking bases rather than the dirty, messy ones. But I mean, that kind of leads to one of the points that I made in the document is that we can interact. Well, there's two things. There's like obviously the weather in effect and things look dirty anyway. But the other thing is, well, they showed you like the inside, and they're extremely untidy on some of the different companies. Now, I can't remember how much we're supposed to be able to interact with the world. They've shown us we can pick up glasses and things like that. Are we going to be able to eventually pick up clothing that's on the floor, or?
I don't think so.
Because there's like some of them are so messy. Like, are we going to be able to tidy the fucking things up?
I don't think so.
Just because we're not in the fucking medical one. Like, I don't want to live in a shithole. Like, every time you log in on Grim Hex and you look at it and you think, oh, fuck's sake, just because I'm spawning here, just because I'm a criminal, I don't want to live in a shithole.
I think maybe when you enter the first place. Maybe when you enter in the first place, it will be messy, and then if you interact with it more, it becomes less messy because you're around more. But if you're
gonna be cleaning Grim Hex, wandering around cleaning.
For fuck's sake, pick up your fucking socks, for God's sake.
So you come back to a point. You come back to a point, and an issue that Skyrim has, for example, that every object is interactable with. You know what I mean, and streaming that over a bandwidth or over a netcode is going to be really, really damn hard. So what I think is that they're going to do a similar thing like we've seen certain points where you can put things down, maybe, you know what I mean? Or I don't know. It's tough,
but
man.
Then doesn't that interfere with like the whole like realism, fidelity type thing? If you can't, so you just this is your room. It's a shithole, and you're going to have to live with it as a shithole.
Maybe you can choose with a slider.
A shithole slider.
Yeah, shithole slider.
Slightly less shithole than that shithole.
I think, Miz, I think to please you, I think they'll have, as they build more assets, you may be able to, you know, make the pirate base a little bit more to your taste.
So we can't chuck shit around. Like if we can pick up glasses, but you think that's where it's going to end?
I think no. Do you know, like if you go out of the games, you have a you can kind of go into say when you up. Like I'm trying to think of a game like Witcher, for example, or something, or other old games. You can the castle as you build the castle up, for example. You can then I want to have this type of interior. I want to have this type of interior. I want to have this, and one's like filthy, dirty, you know, a dungeon,
Exactly.
and then another one will be super clean and tidy, and you know.
How am I going to show someone that last night I had a good?
You change it again.
It's not real. I know we want it to be real, Miz. I know we really want it to be real, but you know, I mean,
There's only a certain point in how far you can go. I think
But that's what I'm trying to say. Like how much interaction we have. Like, we already know we can pick up glasses.
they'll
and
get.
drink from.
They'll. I think. Honestly,
Is that the
like,
plan? Just glasses and that's it.
don't.
Can you see Miz run around with the pants on his head?
I think that you will get a lot of the grabby hand stuff. At the end of the day, if they're getting to a place where we can, you know, they showed us the gun and they showed how they I don't know if you've got the video later, but you can highlight. They highlighted where there was a bug or something. They can select the gun, but it didn't select the magazine, which I think I agree with. Board said in his video, which I agree 100% with him. They missed a really big trick there. They should have kept it so that the gun and the magazine and the attachments are separate, so you can change them.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought that was when I had to watch that a few times because I wasn't sure whether he was actually saying that wasn't that's what they wanted, because it seemed to make more sense that you can buy the gun or you can buy the scope or you can buy the thing.
Keep that, and so maybe you can, you know, if the clothes on the floor, the bits and bobs, you'll be able to potentially pick them up and say, put them into inventory.
That was really quick, Zach. What the fuck?
So just maybe girlfriend?
Some people don't like living in a shithole. That's what I'm saying.
Awesome. Awesome. Zach cleaning the universe as we speak wherever we go.
Coming back on the whole outpost thing, I think you played most of the videos, did you, man? As
I played through most of them. Yeah, I've been playing through most of them whilst we've been chatting about them, and
it's very interesting to see the different brands, moods.
Yeah, I mean, Raya's
the use of lighting effects again, you know, comes back in this one to create a mood. And one big thing, the procedural is mentioned again, you know, how important it is for them and to have that procedural tag. If something is wrong with one, it's very easy to fix all of them because the base code is all the same, basically, you know what I mean? It's nice to see that, and it's a time saver again at the end of the day, you know.
Well, I like the styling of this one. It feels like Mass Effect, and then the other ones feel a bit more dirty.
Is that the Raya?
The Raya one, yeah, it's nice, it's clean, and
I think I know we sort of theory craft a little bit at the start, but I think their main aim is a bit like they are with the ship. So when you get an Origin, you know what kind of ship you're going to get, regardless of what one you're going to buy. Same with the MISC stuff. They use the similar assets, and I think that's what they're going for with these outposts, so that you know, different companies are going to have their own color scheme. They're going to have their own thing so you'll notice even when you're flying in. Oh, this has got an orange stripe down it. It's one of the companies that has an orange stripe down it. But you know what I mean. That's the thing. So
you mean Hugo Boss? Orange collection. Sorry.
So how many outposts on the moon do you think there's going to be? Do you think they're going to be scattered everywhere so they're easy to find, or
more than you? They're having to add more because they realised that they did have pass, I think, and the director said that it still felt too barren. So there's going to be more. That
begs the question: is once you've seen a couple of them, is that it? Are they all going to be similar? Like very.
I think they're working on trying to make them all a little bit different, but I think it will still feel
very similar. Yeah.
I think eventually you will be like so I've seen that before.
And more importantly, again, getting back to game mechanics, what are we actually going to be able to do in each type? So there's only a few types, like a medical one or a space weed farming one or whatever.
I think some of them will be
Same
quest
stuff.
locations in the beginning. The most of them will be quest locations in the beginning, I think.
It could be very pretty set dressing still with very little actual interaction. I mean, this is what we hope for in Gamescom. I'm hoping Gamescom Friday they will show us. Exactly.
What do you guys think of timed events? So, for example, and you have it in Final Fantasy 14, fates they call it. So you run into a situation and it creates the event as you enter. It actions the event as you enter.
Well, the music.
For example, no. So, for example, there's a lot of fighting going on. You go into it, it initiates the event. This could be a similar thing. You go to a drugs farm, it initiates for your side. Oh, you can raid this drugs farm, but people are there to defend it. You know what I mean? It's like random events, basically. Could be that nothing happens and you can infiltrate. That's something that would be nice, that I would like to see, you know. Or you go to this drugs lab or to this medical lab. Someone runs out, oh, these medicines need to go to this and this location. Can you bring them? We'll pay you this amount of money if you get it done within 15 minutes or 20 minutes or half an hour, you know. Something like that is something that would be really...
That's kind of linked to subsumption, and hopefully it is something we will get. So...
Yeah, I mean, Chris touched on like missions ages ago, not so much on the time stuff, but the more dynamic gameplay where if you get a mission to go and find like a wreck, for example, like you would in the ICC missions now, and you kill a pirate, like that pirate might drop a location for his base, so you could then have the choice to carry on expanding the mission as it goes on. So you might find something else at the base, or you could just do the step one of the mission and come back. So how far you take it's completely up to you. And then in the pirate base, someone else might be doing a mission there already, so it brings players together for the interactivity.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nice. I'm looking forward to that sort of stuff.
Yep.
I don't know how deep we'll get that in 3.0, but yeah, they did say they want to kind of bring people together, so it'll be interesting to kind of see how that plays out. And like you said, you could be on a mission to just kill the pirates, but that then leads on to another one, and you don't have to take it. You could just go back and say, yeah, I've killed them pirates. Yeah, so I think that's cool.
I think that would be a really good thing for the game, at least. Like I say, trying to bring players together so I can kill people more.
That's what you want, really, isn't it? You just want to. Why don't you just have a freaking beacon and set your own mission and say, "Come to Zaqq."
Exactly.
We got that now. It's called Public Enemy.
Exactly. Closing down the whole outpost stuff. I think it's time for it's PvP time, is it?
I believe it
Smuggler
is.
time, isn't it?
No,
we got
the
smugglers. We got smuggler. We'll do PvP, and then when we finish PvP, we'll go into smuggler time, and then if we've got time, we'll do smugglers. If not, we'll do the next
PvP. One. We'll see how it's we'll do questions.
And then we'll see. We've got questions.
We're going to talk about PvP for about an hour or so.
Exactly.
So if anyone that's new to the channel. Anyone that's new to the channel will know that I am currently the reigning champion of BritainCon dogfighting, and this man down here, Zach, to my wherever, if I can get the angles right, Zackaroonie over there somewhere, where my camera can't show, is the man that basically trained me and taught me everything I know, and he's looking forward to trying to beat my ass next year at BritainCon.
He is going to beat your ass next year.
He may do. We had
no competition this year.
I had. What are you talking about? It was prime. There was some of the best pilots of in England.
There were a bunch of fucking numpties including my fucking self. Come on.
There was the biggest threat I had to deal with was myself. There was plenty of good pilots there.
You had biomechanical. He couldn't even get his joystick to fucking work. Then you had myself. I had no clue what was fucking going on in the first place anyway with all dog fighting.
So anyway, so like I said, top pilots were there, and anyway, so Zach, he showed me everything I need to know.
Say, what is this game?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure I heard one of the competitors say, "What is this game?"
Probably.
I've never seen it before.
What is this thing? Is it a joystick or yeah, exactly. No,
someone gave him a ticket for his birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
Here you go.
Come in and do some dogfighting. That was the finalist. No.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Zach is an awesome. If you've ever seen him streaming, if you haven't seen him stream, go check him out. He's an awesome streamer. He's got 3 weeks off, so he's going to be streaming a lot. So you will see him around. You will see him around, and you'll probably hear me chatting with him in the background whilst we do lots of fighting.
He's a secret brilliant guy.
He is really knowledgeable on PU dogfighting and just generally ships and just loads of stuff. We were going to have, hopefully trying to have like a bit on desync flying and some cool videos. I don't know if we're going to carry that on, Zach, later, or if that's something you're going to just do yourself and bring onto your YouTube channel, which if you do, that's great. We'll get the links and we'll post it up.
Yeah, we could bring it in for next week or something.
Yeah,
more guests.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get some stuff going. But anyway, you do video editing as well, don't you? So which is really helpful. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, I haven't really done much Star Citizen stuff because obviously with the patches changing, and if now I make videos, it's going to be out of date when 3.0 hits.
Yeah.
So not really any point. But once that does land, and we've got all the new guns and stuff, I'll be like,
yes,
spamming out the content.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of like metadata and information data that we're going to have like on all spreadsheets. You're going to be like like a pig in shit, as they would say. And
before you go on to your PvP thing, just anybody that wants to ask us any questions for the end of the show, !question in chat, and go and fill out the form. Ask us anything you want. We'll try our best to answer it because we are all CIG endorsed, as all these podcasts are. Or not. But yeah.
We're not working for fucking CIG.
We're not. Oh,
we're not.
Sign the contract.
Just to make that clear, I am available if needed. So I don't know what I'm good at yet, but we'll find that out along the way.
Yay!
We'll think of something.
PvP conversation coming up. This is me and Zach right now inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
On screen.
Well, Sol's done quite a lot of pew as well.
Right? Yeah.
I have to be honest. I learned from Madness, who basically learned from you. So I'm the Padawan's Padawan. You know what I mean? But yeah. I think if
copy of a copy, scrub.
Copy of a copy. I'll wipe the floor with you when needed.
Just a lot of clones flying around.
I think, and all jokes aside, if you look at people that dogfight, and I've been in UINS together with Zach and a little bit of Madness and flying skills. I think two of the best pilots that you can find at the moment in the Star Citizen universe, not only Europe but also USA, Australia. When they go there,
I would say top 50, and Zach's probably top 25. If you're being very generous to say top 2. I mean,
don't give me shit. I know what you think, but
funny there was leaderboards in the PU.
Yeah. If only.
I think you have two great pilots here, and I'm sure they're going to have a lot of great tips for you guys to either take in or leave it for what it is. But if I may give you guys a tip, if you guys want to become good dogfighters, and I want to stand a chance in the universe eventually, listen to these two guys.
Yep. Do you want to start, Matt, or should I?
You go for it, dude. You put this baby together. So I'll bring up the we've got with the player versus player progression in Star Citizen, choosing the right one for your budget. So you go for it, dude.
Yeah. So obviously everyone's on a different budget, right? So what I did, I just sat down and I picked the cheapest dogfight up to one of the most expensive. Like right now, that's flyable, and I'm just going off my experience with going through the ships because I went through this progression myself. So I started off with the Avenger Stalker. I didn't really have a clue about the game back then, but I did some pew and I didn't really do very good. And we'll come back to the ships as we go, and then the next progression up from that is the Gladius, and I really do think the Gladius, I'm sure Matt can confirm this as well because he flies it quite a lot. We'll not go into the HUDs and stuff.
We won't go into HUDs, but as a ship, as a solely dogfighting ship, if you want to learn in, and I know that Templar 1's favorite ship was the Gladius, and Templar 1 is the number one fighter in AC. And that's what that was or is one of his most favorite ships. So I know that from people at RS as well who've told me. So yeah, it's a good ship to learn in.
So if you want to be competitive, at an early stage, for pretty the cheapest competitive ship in my opinion is the Gladius, and that clocks in at $108 by itself. Yeah. And then above that one you've got the Buccaneer, which is really similar to the Gladius, for 120 to 155, but that's only available now on the grey market. And again, we'll get back to the pros and cons of all the ships. And then obviously everyone's heard of the Hornet for $132. That's probably your best choice at the moment if you're just getting into PvP to learn.
Is that the standard Hornet? Or
the FC7, I would say.
Yeah, that's the standard, dude. And obviously the Super Hornet above that, but trying to get a hold of that's pretty rough as well from the grey market. Expensive.
Yeah.
And obviously after that's I progressed from the Hornet to the Saber, and getting into the Saber sort of upped my game a little bit, I felt, because like the tank compared to the Hornet's pretty light, but it's a lot more nimble, so it teaches you how to fly a little bit cautious, let's say. So yeah, all of the ships have got like pros and cons right now to the way they fly, especially the cheaper ones, but they can still be pretty competitive and like even in AC. But if you're flying an Avenger Stalker against the Hornet, you're probably going to get your ass kicked. Doesn't really matter how good you are, to be honest. Like I can do pretty good in the Stalker against a few people, but ultimately against one or more targets, you're probably going to get ganked pretty hard. But like every loss you take should be a learning experience too.
I think you missed the Ellen.
I was about to say, does that mean you read my mind? Literally read my mind. I would have said, if you wanted to just have a ship, like when I first ever started, because my progression was Mustang, the standard one, the whatever there was, Mustang Alpha. Then I got the Delta. And then I was like, it wasn't quite as good an upgrade as I thought it would be. It was good, but it wasn't as good an upgrade as I was hoping it would be. Then I went to the Avenger Titan, which was really fun, and I really loved my little Avenger Titan. And then I wanted to really focus on combat, so then I went to the Gladius. And then I went from the Gladius, which I've been flying forever. Everyone knows that I just loved my Gladius forever and ever and ever. Yeah. I've now moved on to the Saber, because it's a natural move up. It's Aegis. It's a bigger ship. It's still nimble, still mobile. And the great thing about flying, like I agree with Zach completely about if you want to become a really good dogfighter, I firmly believe you need to fly in ships that are more likely to be blown up quickly, because it teaches you to dodge your ass.
Mm-hmm. Dodge for sure. So that's another like why I didn't add any of the stars or the Auroras in, even the LN. It's because they're just absolute dog shit. Like they're way too heavy. They've got no fuel, so they're not competitive at all, in my opinion.
Do you think that will change in the with the next patch?
I
mean, they're not going to be competitive against obviously your main fighters, but
yeah, I mean the
starter package.
The LN's obviously the military ship, but it's just too heavy. Like right now, unless they make it like much more agile, because you just can't turn fast enough to stay on targets and shit.
I think you're not gonna use LN really as a dogfighting ship. You're gonna use it. It's more of a just learning the mechanics of the game, and then then you can kind of like feel around. Maybe if you wanted to kind of go into more of a combat thing, I agree that if you moving into the Stalker, I think going into 3.0, the Stalker or the Cutlass are good ships, because they're going to give you a bit more fighting power, because the Cutlass has got fighting power. It's also got a bit more fighting power. It's more maneuverable. It can still run cargo. I wouldn't be surprised if I end up getting a Stalker again at some point and just bombing around in the verse with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not bad. I mean, the Stalker's got pros and cons as well. So the minigun can't be changed on the front of it, so you're quite limited as to that you can't monoboard it, basically, which is like putting all the same guns on it.
Yeah.
But it does really well with the 870 Mach 2s on the sides as well, so you've got like a full ballistic loadout, and it does actually do decent DPS, that little minigun, if you can get it on target.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen pilots who, if I'm not paying attention or staying still, I've been killed by Avenger, in my little Gladius, just because it's so vulnerable to ballistic damage. And even my Saber as well has gone yellow pretty quickly if I'm just not paying attention. Someone comes along and just starts rat-a-tat-tat me with their minigun on the front.
Yeah, I mean, the Stalker's got really good agility as well. I mean, compared to the Saber, like for example, the Saber's got like an 88% agility rating, and the Stalker's got 83%, so it's really like close, So it makes it very good. But generally, that's like the minimum ship I would go if you want to get into PvP and start learning about stuff. Well, I've just lost me thing here. So the Gladius, like Mad says, he's been flying a ton and has fluid for ages as well. And the minigun on the front can be changed, so you can put like an ultra gank fit with the mass drivers, and obviously you've got all the missiles to back yourself up as well with that.
Everyone knows that.
It's a great. It's a great. What's great about it is I would always suggest to anyone is I watch too many people fly the Gladius and they fly it like a rock, and I'm always like, and then they complain that they're dying so quickly, and it's like, well, because you ain't using the Gladius to its maximum ability, which is maneuvering it, making it dodge, it's got a small hitbox, so you make that shit move and rock and turn and do what you can, and you can get in close, and especially if you fit, like Zach gave me the loadout. I had the Gladius, but I didn't really know what loadout to send, and he said to me, stick some mass drivers on it, or some, I think it was neutrons. No, someone told me about putting neutrons on it. I put the neutrons, then I chatted to Zach, and Zach was like, nah. Put 4 arresters on it and put 3 mass drivers on it, and then I've never looked back. Put it that way. And and it is a fantastic loadout. The arresters are pretty much cross-section missiles, so they're hard to shake. Most people who don't know how to avoid any missiles will be wrecked. The mass drivers rip through things and hit like size 3s and at close range. The only problem is there's a very limited ammo, so again, it teaches you ammo discipline. It teaches you to get in close. Trigger discipline. Sorry. It really trains you to be, to learn how to fly properly, to maneuver, to get in close. It's fantastic. It's awesome. Awesome.
You can stay really close with the Gladius as well. I mean, the agility rating is like 93%, which is like 2 or 3 above the Saber. So you can really stick your targets close and like tuck in tight and avoid their damage coming in. And obviously, like Matt says, it's really small. So
like Gecko's saying, like, the neutrons are great against NPCs, but not great against Connies. But the reality is, if I'm in a Gladius, I'm not going to engage in a Connie. Like, if a Connie engages me, realistically, I can fly around it all day long. Even if with my mass drivers, I could fly around it, maybe redden up his back thrusters, and most pilots that are in a Connie will fuck off. Because I've scaring them, because they can't hit me, and they'll be turning for days. Because at the end of the day, I'm turning in seconds and getting on their tail, and they're having to do this huge yawl or whatever, or to try and turn around, and you're always going to be behind them. They're rarely going to get on top of you. So,
can I just interject quickly? One of the things I was going to say is, like, we're obviously you're talking PvP, and a lot of people probably don't feel like this appeals to them, applies to them. That's the one that applies to them. I just want to know what your sort of, because I think you said it to me, Madness. There's an element that even if you don't think you're going to be involved in PvP, you're going to be involved in PvP.
Yeah.
So I was just going to say that if you're listening and thinking this doesn't apply to me, there's an element of this. At least if you go into like talking about dodging and things like that, or evading and being able to survive, that I think it will apply to a lot of people, even if they think it won't. So I just wanted to.
I mean, go for it. You go.
So I think in general, for a game like Star Citizen, being knowledgeable about everything in the game is going to be quite important, especially obviously ships, because that's one of the main components of the game. So, like, understanding how you can avoid a fight and like what a ship's weaknesses is and how you can exploit that to get away, even if you're not into the PvP. So, like, understanding what ships can do, and I'll be touching on that a little bit later when we get into, like, understanding what your ship's capable of or how to get away from stuff as well. So, knowledge is power in the game, definitely. Like, I think that's, like, a huge thing.
And if you don't want to know, if you're a bit like me, and, like, I suffer from dyslexia, I find reading spreadsheets, and, I mean, it's hard enough doing the document as it is, because it's a bloody spreadsheet, but genuinely, like, I find it tricky, so I've got other people who help me through Zach and stuff who do that side and can link me to that really cool information. You've got streamers such as myself and other people who can do that for you if you're not very good at it. But you also, this is the great part of having the game in alpha at the moment. You can go and practice it. Do not be afraid. So many people are just afraid to do it. Toby was doing ICC missions forever. Now he is doing PU forever. He's enjoying himself again. He's found a new aspect to the game, and it will.
He's also broke his second stick.
Yes, exactly. But he will go. He will go back to doing the Care Berry type of things in a much stronger position to be able to defend himself, defend other people, and he may be able to balance the two as well. He might say, I'm going to have another account. I'm going to have one that's going to be a Care Bear account. I'm going to have one that's going to be a Dogfight account. And depending on my mood, I'll go and do it. And there is no cost apart from a little bit of time to get your ship back again. So just go and try it. Go try dogfighting. Go test it out. Fly decoupled. We'll talk about this stuff in a bit, but don't, like, it's, if you think it's not relevant to you, you're mistaken. Being able to know the sound difference between weapons could be the difference between getting away safely and dying in seconds.
Yep. I mean, again, there's going to be a lot of stuff on Reddit or whatever about griefing and things like that, where people don't understand how they died, so they think, oh well, that's not like a balanced thing in the game. Where if they picked up on some like I say, audio cues or something, they could have like maybe get away even, or like,
it's not just audio; it's visual.
Things.
Some people don't even know what the missiles are like. They don't know the difference between the IR, the flame. They don't know how to power down their systems, power up their systems to be able to avoid missiles. They don't know how to get out of a cone. I mean, a cross-section missile has a cone on the basically sending out a radar type of information to your ship, finding your cross-section. So if you're like in a Sabre, you keep your cross-section as flat as possible. It means that the missile's going to take longer to lock onto you. You start flipping yourself up like this, bang, it's going to be much quicker lock onto you. You know, you keep yourself flat, you that reduces it. Eventually it will lock onto you, but then if you then wait for the missile to be launched, you know exactly when the torpedo is going to be launched. You can then hit upwards, boost away, and then you're out of the cone and the missile's evaded. And you go, I mean, there's still problems with missiles. Let's not beat around the bush. Missiles are broken to a degree, but there is so much you can still learn to avoid them that people really, really need to be aware of. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but we'll move on.
Yeah, I mean, Rithias in chat has just said NPCs will also be flying the same ships, so you'll need info and knowledge on how to like beat them. And obviously 3.0 coming up, there's going to be like distortion damage, so his systems might get wrecked or anything like that. So again, knowledge is power, people.
Yep, absolutely, and you know that's what we're here to try and help.
Yeah, so just to finish up on the Gladius, there is a couple of really good fits. So the mass drivers, it's the APR mass drivers. Is that right? Is it the APRs?
Off the top of my head, there's two types of mass drives. I would say you can just try both of them and see which one works. One has a slightly faster hit rate, but I think has a little bit less DPS. The one I run is the one with more DPS but slightly slower hit rate, just because I prefer DPS. I don't mind getting in closer and taking and doing the damage rather than being able to fire a bit faster.
It's the heat rate on the ones we use that, obviously, because the fire rate's slower.
Yeah,
but basically they're both the same like right now. Yeah. So if you wanna have a really good strong solo gank fit, then I would go with the Arrestas, which is the size 3. I think you can fit 4 of them.
Yeah, you just it comes with 2 already fitted with the hard points for the missiles racks are. I'm just going to say numbers there: 313s, bearing 313s. You'll need to buy 2 more of those for the side wings, the further wings, and then you need to buy 2 more Arrestas to fit on. And then once you've got that, you've got 4 Arrestas, 3 mass drivers. Brilliant fit. Go fly it and have fun. You should be.
If you get close to things like cutlasses and freelancers, you can literally gank them in seconds. If you get all your payload ready and the shields down with the mass drivers.
You get the shields down with the mass drivers on a freelancer, and then you lock your missiles on and you hit them with the missiles, and you'll just obliterate a cutlass. You'll obliterate a freelancer. You don't even necessarily need to use the missiles. This is how crap freelancers are to kill them. You know, but if with a cutlass. Yeah, you got to get the shields down first before you launch the missiles. Don't go spamming your missiles. You've only got 4. This is one of the big things that I always tell people. This is not like a Rattler spam or a Connie spam with missiles. You've got 4 missiles. It teaches you to think about. You've got very limited ammo. You got to think how you're going to use the brain, how you're going to win a fight. You got to take your time. You got to be patient. You've got to wear them down, look for the opportunity, get your lock in, get your time in right, then launch your missiles. It takes practice. It does take practice. It's not a spam. It's pretty good. Can't spam. It's a great ship. It's a great loadout. The Drake Buck.
Sorry, man. That's the last fit on the Gladius. If you like your lasers on the Gladius, so you're not like reloading every 2 minutes like you would be with the mass drivers, just go with the Badger 117s. They're a really good fit, especially for if you're running with friends, so you can stay on grid like the whole time.
Yes, I have that I had that originally with you as my support when I was flying before. Now I've got my Sabre. I do that with my Panthers on my Sabre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll struggle to kill like Hornets and shit by yourself with the lasers, because since there's only 3 turrets, but like in a fleet or a gun, like with some ballistics backing you up, it's really good.
Yeah, you really get in nice. You can get in where people aren't paying attention to you because you're in a Gladius. You'll be able, and because you're tricky to hit, you'll be able to get in nice and close, take their shields down for your Super Hornet mate, and he'll love you forever. Or your Sabre mate. So
moving on to the Buccaneer, like I say, it's 120 to 155 on the Grey Market right now, since it's off sale. But the Buccaneer is a bit of an odd one, although it's really strong. It's basically the Gladius with more DPS and some like more versatility for fitting options, especially because you can fit a size 4 gun on the top of it, which is really strong for chunking shields down with the M6A laser. It's really, really good. But the weapons, the turrets on them, it's like size 1, size 3s, and obviously the 2 size 2s on the top, is it? And the size 4. So there's a lot of options, yeah, for fitting.
I gave Miz what I think is probably one of the best loadouts for this one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You didn't give it to me, no?
No, because I only found about it not too long ago. So you haven't been
Toby
flying for
doesn't like that loadout.
He doesn't like it.
No.
No. It's 2 tarantulas, 4 neutrons. So you have 2 size 1s and 2 size 2s, and that's the loadout.
Neutrons.
Yeah, neutrons. Yeah. That's the neutrons. You could change it for mass drivers as well if you wanted to as well. You could potentially do it, but it's all to do with the pips and like loadouts. This is a loadout it wrecks in like 3 shots. If you're close, you got to get close. It's about being close, but or you could change it for all M series. Is the other loadout that I know of.
Yeah, that's the one I prefer. Like all M's all the way around. They don't heat too much, and like the DPS is consistent. So, but again, like the Gladius, you've got to fly it really nimbly, because like a couple of good shots off a Saber with 870s is just going to explode you. But again, it's really small, so you can avoid like incoming damage pretty quick. Although the fuel is pretty bad on it, like if you're boosting all the time. Yeah. But other than that, it's basically just a Gladius with more firepower.
Okay. And then it's
the fast as fuck too.
We have to and the next one was the Hornet loadout. I use you can use this as a slight variation on this one, but for me, I believe the standards are either Panthers, and on top, what would be the repeaters for like a laser loadout for that one?
Well, it's either the M6 again or the dual turret with the 117s.
Yeah, the 117s. And then it's for a ballistic loadout, it would be 3 tarantulas, and then you can either use neutrons on the top or mass drivers, right?
I think Radio uses the mass drivers on the top, which is really strong against Sabers, like coupled with the 870s. But preferably, again, like for just chunking damage, you want the biggest gun you can fit on, which is the M6A.
Okay.
The size 4 laser, which is really nice. And it works well with the 870s, with them being ballistics too.
Okay, cool.
I think that's like probably the best fit if you're running fixed.
Yeah. And I would say that there is I mean, you can record that clip, and that kind of gives you a good loadout to start with, really, if you want to kind of take those ships and make them very strong in the verse to be able to protect yourself. I would say to do good DPS. I think those are the best. Unless there's anything else you want to add briefly.
Well, if you're progressing up through the ships and then feel as though you're ready for like stepping into a Hornet or something, then you'll probably find your game, like your fights, lasting a lot longer, because you've got like more tank as well. Not so much on the standard Hornet, but especially the Super Hornet, you've got all the armor to go with it. And like I say, you've just got a lot more hit points to stay in, like have a 3v1 or a 5v1 or something like that. If those other pilots aren't as experienced, so you can last the field and do some like massive damage. Yeah. And the Hornet's probably the most versatile for fitting, since it's got like tons and tons of options to go with.
Yeah. Let's, because we've got quite a lot, and we're going to run out of time, Zach. I want to kind of like keep us on a lovely track here.
Yeah. Well, you can go over the Saber, mate, since you've recently bought one.
So no, I'm not going to go over this. I'm just going to say the Saber. We've got 2 loadouts again. So you either do 4 tarantulas for the ballistic loadout, which is a very good ballistic loadout. You could potentially change to size. You could do 4 mass drivers, kind of gimbaled, and then lock them, I guess, which would be a bit strange, but you could do that. Or if you want to do the laser loadout, it's 4 Panthers again for
pretty meta fits for the Saber.
Yeah, it's those, just do tarantulas, 4 tarantulas or 4 sabers right now, and I think try those out and see. I mean, lasers is great, but you have to be able to get in close and stay on the target for a long period of time. And at the moment, with the tank issues and everyone flying Super Hornets, it's a tricky one. You have to know your opponent. Yep. I don't want to go into it too much. That's something for you guys to learn when you fly, but that's the best loadouts for you. In terms of gimbals versus fixed, because we're going to go talk about briefly, I'm just going to jump through a few things. Fixed, in my opinion, personally, I prefer, because of I don't know about you guys, Miz and Solitary. Do you guys fly fixed, or do you fly gimbal?
Joysticks away, fix them all, because I think with a joystick you're not going to do shit with a gimbal.
No, you fix and something that I got from Madness and Zach again, because makes it a lot. I don't know, especially if you fly decoupled. I think fix is so much nicer. You know what I mean? because you will be the one maneuvering the ship into position instead of.
It's more immersive, don't you think?
More immersive, yeah, definitely.
It just feels better just turning the ship rather than just like a.
It feels more natural. In how natural space flight can be, obviously, but it feels more in
Even when I
control.
was mouse and keyboard, I still felt like fixed was better. I just couldn't. Gimbal was just weird because not all your guns, unless you have all gimbal, maybe that would be a bit different. But when you have a mixed loadout, I just felt like having some guns that were hitting and then still having to steer the ship it just didn't feel right at all. But that is my opinion on that.
Yeah, but obviously the biggest difference between the gimbal at the minute, it's only size 2s pretty much, unless you're flying like the Freelancer or the Connie. So you're pretty much stuck with like the balance between the size 2 DPS and the size 3 is like extraordinarily crazy. Size 3s just like outperform size 2s absolutely every time.
Yeah.
Right.
And running fixed is like a good skill to learn as well. So I would always recommend that.
Okay.
Yeah, DPS being the main thing.
Yeah, the DPS is incredible. You just have to try it, and you'll just do it. Just try it with the 2 stationary ships in free flight. Just fly one which has got gimbaled with another ship stationary and shoot it, and then fly one which has got fixed, and then you'll just see how quickly you do the damage, the difference in damage. That'll just tell you everything you need to know.
Obviously, in that process, you'll be learning, like you'll be practicing aim better and shit like that too. So you'll just end up a better pilot all around.
Yeah,
definitely.
Energy and ballistics, they kind of speak for themselves to a degree. The ballistics will damage certain ships. Aegis ships tend to suffer the worst, I believe, against ballistics. You just need to basically learn. I mean, I know again we could go here for ages about this, but there's certain ships that are very resistant to ballistic damage. One being the Super Hornet. We do have some links, I believe. I think Zach had some good links from some data if anyone wanted to farm it from to do with ships and shields and armor and stuff. We've got all this information. You feel free to ever ask myself in stream or Zach. Go check out Zach and we can provide all this metadata that if you wanted to know about it. But like I said, lasers are really good at getting rid of shields and doing good damage to ships once the shields are down. Ballistics avoid shields to a degree. They do hit them and they do take them down, but they tend to go straight through and hit hull and do more damage to hulls. And so if your ship is go for it, sorry. You'll
do damage over time rather than like that once quickly.
Yeah. But then I mean I watched Jolly with his like I said I know that Chris Roberts talked about having mixed loadouts being more of a thing. We've seen it with the Buccaneer. You see how devastating the Super Hornet is now, where the ability to have like the M6 on top or the neutrons or the mass drivers on top to take shields out, and then the tarantulas or whatever, the 3 loadouts to do more damage underneath. But they're all lasers and stuff as well. I mean, it's a lot of it's skill dependent. You know, if you're a really good skilled pilot and you can stick your guns on somebody for a long period of time and get in and fly well, like I watched Jolly and I watched Templar and stuff, you just need Panthers because you can just wreck them. You take the shields down in seconds and wreck them. So that is a big part of it as well. Your skill is a big thing.
Yeah,
right.
I think the Panthers come with experience of flying. Like since I've recently switched to them, I'm finding them like a lot better since my aim is like good now after months of playing.
It says Sherman says once power throughput. What's that sound? Sorry. Once power
throughput to weapons isn't just an always on situation like it is currently. It means that there'll be more benefit to mixed loadouts. I presume it means like
energy and ballistics. I think. Yeah, exactly. Once we have components, and this is, I think we're very aware. I think
it's going to be a huge learning curve for you all. Well, I don't know huge, but it's going to be a bit more of a learning curve for you, isn't it? I suppose when all the components come in.
Yeah, meaningful heat or powerful limitations across ship. I hope, Sherman, that you guys make it so that lasers, ultimately, if you overheat your lasers over a long period of time, eventually laser guns take damage and need to be going repaired. I think that it's ridiculous. Because at the moment, I was chatting to Jolly and some of the RS guys, and they're like, yeah, lasers are going to be the only gun that everyone uses in the PU because they don't ever run out and die and all the rest of it. And I'm a bit like, that's shit. Because then ballistics...
You mean like the counterbalance having to buy ammo?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, yeah, great. You don't have to buy ammo. Fantastic. But then surely, eventually, they're going to break down and get damaged. You can't just have lasers lasting forever. You know, it just seems just silly in my opinion. Personally, I just
Wear
think
and tear.
yeah, they should eventually have. It could be like 5 times as long as a ballistic. You know, what I mean, like it looks but eventually there could be that moment when you're in a fight and you've forgotten to repair your lasers and you're overheating them, or you're having to watch, making sure you don't overheat because they're just on the verge of dying. So you're having to fight. You know, it'd be really cool. Anyway,
that'd be pretty cool. Yeah. So just to end obviously the section on ships and stuff, just want to emphasize that this is everything we're talking about. It's like for now, like it's going to totally drastically change in 3.0.
Yeah.
So
which is why you were saying like you can't do videos for it because it's you're on a short period now before we get 3.0.
Yeah, we're just
hopefully short period.
Yeah, hopefully short period.
Yeah. So just to round that off, guys, I think we'll skip the coupled flying mod. That's going to be a long subject,
we will. Yeah, I think we'll do that. We'll do some other things another time. Like I said, you come and chat with us if you're really interested. We just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of some of the little bit of a tidbit of our knowledge. And I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, so we'll keep it. We'll leave it to a 10-minute section, 20-minute section. Thank you so much for everyone that did listen and did hang around for.
Definitely
cool,
good stuff.
And I want to come back on it again. And it's what Miss said, you are going to run into PvP. If you're going to want it or not, this is not a game that is designed without PvP. You cannot avoid it. There will be a time where you will be in a situation, and then definitely tips that these guys give can be really important and are going to be really important. So I would make me a much better flyer. You know, I couldn't fly for shit. I found out. I thought I was it all. Until these guys taught me how to fly, and you'll get a lot more joy out of the content that we have now as well. You know, I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, but these people are constantly shooting us." If you're going to transport something that is worth a lot of money, people are going to want to fucking shoot you. They're not going to say, "Oh, yeah, let it go." No, you're gonna get fucked if it's going to be by NPCs or by players. And then these tips are just very helpful. You know, definitely take them in.
I'll tell you what, Chav said something interesting in chat a bit earlier, which I'm going to come back to. He was saying that, you know, you just hire an NPC to fly your turret, and that kind of scared me just a smidgen, because I was immediately thinking,
doesn't work that way.
Currently the NPCs are pretty good at hitting you in their ships, which have got no wings and whatever. I've been watching them; they still manage to somehow hit you. So I'm curious to see if the balancing of these.
This
NPCs...
is actually something I mentioned a long time ago, and I've said a few times, in that in most games, if technically an AI is going to be better than a player, because like even with calculations to make them miss and not be very accurate, like sometimes players can be extremely shit, and then you factor in turrets. When a ship where the pilot's spinning the ship in all different directions and different, you know, it's actually very difficult for a turret gunner as a player to shoot and hit things. I know that's hopefully going to be improved a bit, but is it still going to be enough to outbalance what an AI can do, even a shit AI?
I don't know. You don't want to make it to a point where you want to get people to use people over NPCs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we want that, but I don't know.
Some kind of factor to push people to go for a player over an NPC, and they'll probably calculate this in, you know. I think.
But do you think anyone's gonna get? I don't know. I mean, hopefully it'll be balanced, but I just find maybe if people sit in turrets and learn and get really good, you can get a really good turret gunner. But
maybe you can get classifications of NPCs. You know, in the beginning,
well,
when you get them, they're completely shit. But you can work them up a little bit. But I think they should never overrule a real player. You know what I mean?
But that's the hard thing to change. Like, so even now, like, which is kind of links into what we're talking about. You've got ZaqQ Madness that are talking about PvP. How these guys wreck most people. If I go up against them, I last 2 seconds. I'm just not good enough. And you're going to get this, like, it's going to be a small percentile that are going to be excellent in the turrets compared to your average person if they jump in there. You know, and they already said that they're going to do different tiers of NPCs, so you'll get people in turrets, AI turrets that are not as good. But I still wonder if even the shittiest ones are going to do, maybe not as good as better pilots or people that are good at turret gunning, but your average person that just jumps into a turret, how good are they going to do?
It's going to be interesting to see how they how they create an average NPC turret person, because and then they're going to have they'll have to trade off in terms of cost, won't they? Because if your mate gets in there, he's free because he's hanging out with you. He's not really gonna, unless they do where you can kind of take a cut.
Nothing for free.
I don't know, but generally people are gonna have fun, and they're gonna have their mates in there. They're gonna jump in turrets as they do now and mess around and do missions together. And maybe they'll split. Maybe you can do the joint missions. I'd be curious to see how they do the missions for joint missions. If you can run the same mission together to each get money on the mission, that would be quite interesting. But you'll have your mate in there, and he maybe is going to be cost nothing, whereas an NPC is going to cost you bucks, and the better he is, I imagine he'll cost you more money, which will have an impact on your profit at the end of it. So you'll have all.
I think one of the biggest differences between having a player in your turret versus like an NPC is, like, take the cutlass for example. The turret's only on the top, so if there was a player in there talking to his friend on like Discord or TeamSpeak or whatever, and you're trying to pilot around the turret on the bottom, you could say, oh, you need to roll this way, so I can get a visual with the turret, where an NPC wouldn't be able to convey that information. So you might find the fight as an attacker being a lot easier against like an NPC turret. Yeah,
that's true.
So it would be up to you to obviously gather the intel,
work with the pilot. Yeah.
Exactly.
But again,
shall we jump into the questions, boys?
Yes, go for it. We'll do some.
I'm excited.
Let's do it. Let's get some questions.
I've got the questions up here somewhere, so if anyone wants to ask any questions, !question in chat, fill out the form, and we will answer most of them. Unless we decide not to.
Can I get a link to these before you start? Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I never bother. I just let them read it out and then I answer.
I normally read them up, but you can send you.
I'll have a look. I'll have a look, mate.
He's getting his answers, getting pictures prepared.
Let's show you what we see.
Let's do some questions.
Can you send it to me as well?
Frickin' hell!
It's in the Google Docs. Google Docs. There it is. Podcast.
Oh my god!
Just don't edit shit, which we know.
Why not?
There.
All right, so we got about a few from last week. Oh, why the f is that not working? Okay, there we go. So we did have a few from last week. So first one was from Killblock, and it was, what will you not sacrifice feature for a 3.0 release this Friday? I think that was last week's, but
what would you not sacrifice?
For another, I think he's kind of saying what feature would you not take out of the game if it meant we could get 3.0? So, like, if there's one feature you definitely need in the game before they release
the Gladius HUD.
The moon landings for me, for sure, we need in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, say again. My apologies. I was checking these questions.
So, I think what he's kind of asking is, out of all the features that are coming in 3.0, what would you say was the essential one that you need to have 3.0 out? Because we've got like missions, we've got outposts, we've got landing on the planet, on the moons.
It's a tough one. The feature that I want it's not going to be in 3.0. That is my issue. You know, I lean more towards the transport. No, not really dodging the question, but I'm just excited for 3.0 in its whole. But for me, transport and trading is going to be a big thing. So I will be patiently waiting for that while enjoying all the things of 3.0. You know.
Yeah, codependent.
There's not a certain function that I would really need to see in 3.0. I think the things that we know or think we're going to get are really nice, and I'm looking forward to it.
It is quite an interesting question, because it's kind of like it's obviously theoretical. We're going to get them all together anyway, so it's not really a choice. But there's things like different people are obviously waiting for different things. So you've got like the whole having a marketplace and a trade and cargo, and being able to actually just keep a market going and buying and selling stuff like that. Over where, say, just landing on a planet, if there was nothing else there, would you be happy with just having a planet, which is basically what you got in Elite Dangerous at the moment?
Yeah, I get the question. I mean, if they had to release it by Friday, what can they take out to make it happen? Well, I think Sherman's kind of said pretty much above you, Keelblock, in terms of the fact that they can't do that. Unfortunately, even if we wanted to, they couldn't do it because there's too many features. I think you see the user interface, for example, is so heavily interwoven to everything, including netcodes and yeah, everything just seems to be so woven. This is why all these bugs are coming up. So it would be, based on that information from Sherman, it would be impossible to. It'd be like taking the alien creature out of the when it's sucked onto someone's face when they try to cut it off without killing somebody. You know what I mean? It's like really hard to do without killing something. So yeah,
I suppose you could look at it as what is the feature you're most excited for. It's kind of a similar thing, no?
I mean, for me, the NPC stuff is something that I want to see in the game. Something I don't want to see in the game would be silly changed HUDs on ships, which didn't need to be changed. They could have just kept the same layouts and just made the HUDs a bit bigger. Just made the HUDs a bit bigger, saved themselves a lot of work, like they did on the Gladiator.
I think for me, potentially is I don't know, maybe the mission / sort of marketplace, because at the moment that's kind of without having to buy and sell and have certain missions, like we're limited on missions. But if we could make our own missions up, that would work quite well. So maybe looking forward to that. I mean, I want the planetary landings and everything else as well.
Could do without the knocks.
I suppose when I first backed the game, I was thinking more along the lines of a space adventure and a space game. So actually landing on planets was not my primary thing in the first place when I backed the game. So as much as I love the fact that we're going to get them and going to be able to do it, I was more into it'd be nice to see some, if I had a choice, it would be like implementing the marketplace, implementing trading so that we can actually get on and do cargo runs and things like that. Mechanic. So anyway, we'll go on to question 2 is by Anonymous. Will you settle for Squadron 42 Chapter 1 by Xmas and PTU delayed till 2018 or vice versa?
No.
You can only have one. It's going to be the PU. No, it's going to... the PU's going to come anyway, so...
Oh, it'll probably be PvP, actually. I know you're a mod, you're alright.
Yeah, I'm good, dude.
Cool.
Just posting those links.
Nice one, man. Yeah.
I think most of us are... I don't know. I think most of us are in it for the PU more than the Squadron 42. Is that...
we said it earlier, we talked about it earlier. I love the idea of the Squadron 42. I'll play it, I'll enjoy it, it'll be great. I'll look forward to the next, all the different story versions. And it adds to the story and it adds to the richness of the game that we're playing. So I think it's super important. But the persistent universe is going to be the meat of the part where we will have the repetition of the gameplay and is really going to sell the game like to more and more people over a longer time, in my opinion. So yeah, there you go.
I'd be happy if they just scrapped it all together, to be honest.
Oh, but there you go. You answered that would be your answer to the next question. Is then that would be it. That would answer Keelblock's question. Then you'd say scrap Squadron 42 to get 3.0 out, because then they would all that team would then move on to 3.0.
Well, I mean, for me, it wouldn't be the case of speeding up 3.0 release. It would just be the case I don't really give a shit about single player campaigns.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, what I was saying, most of us are bothered about the PU more than anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so question number 3 is for Madness, and it's from the champion. And he says, do you have counselling lined up for when you lose your title at 2018?
Don't worry, I have no worries that we will be retaining the title. We will be able to repeat ourselves as the 2 times, just like Dr. Disrespect, 2 times, back to back. 9, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Who knows? I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if Zach's going to get to experience the pressure.
I'm going to give Zach 50 quid.
That I had to experience. So he'll either be like the Iceman, or he will fold like a deck of cards under the pressure. We'll see. I can't begin to tell you how much pressure you will feel when you get to that final.
Madness slept through it all. I was
a duck on water, so I was a duck on water. Little legs underneath, going like this. Very much. It was terrifying. But yes, I will have to have counselling. No, I won't have any. I don't care. It doesn't matter. No matter what, no one can take away the fact that I won the first ever one. So forever.
Okay, so the next question is for Sol. from a concerned Dutch. Are you the reason Brexit is delayed? Is the Netherlands not signing off until you are back home?
I saw him playing Euro Trucker today, so you can have him.
Yeah, take him back.
What is wrong with Euro Truck Simulator, man?
You need Brexit Truck Simulator now.
Exactly. That's what I was like,
Oh
on the way back
my
through the
God.
Euro tunnel. Bye.
They don't want him back. Yeah, I don't think they want me back. Indeed, concerned Dutch. I'm on the back of milk packages in.
Pack of milk packages. Have you seen Saul?
Don't worry.
Lost him in 2010. Brilliant. All right, next question.
The next question, I'm just reading whether it's worth bothering with. Would you just... Okay, so I'll read it anyway. For everybody, sorry, every evening you end... This was actually last week, I remember reading it. But every evening you end up with, if I can only have this acid effect or that weather effect. Would you... just voices were not included in this document, by the way. Would you just not settle for 3.0 now and add the rest of the shit with a Delta patch? Now, I'd like to take this one because... No, fuck you. No, the reason is this is a podcast to discuss the news of Star Citizen. And if we don't speculate and we don't talk about features that we want to see, then what's the freaking point? Because we could go over ATV in about 10 minutes and you've all seen it. This is our opinions. This is us talking and discussing what we want to see, whether it be dreaming and it will never happen, or whether it be something that catches on and they go, oh, that's a good idea. It's just, that's why we're all here. This is why we love this game. This is why we talk
Exactly.
about it.
We all got wet dreams from acid rains and weather changes. You know what I mean?
Well, for me, I mean, at the end of the day, it's, I go away, I research, I look into things, I look at other games, I try to create, with these guys' help and with, you guys, I try to create documents that have something a little bit different to the other podcasts. That when you come here, you're going to get a different perspective. You're going to have a different conversation. You might not, you've been hearing ATV all week. We cover that. We cover it as well as we can do with the knowledge that we have. But at the same time, we want to offer something a little bit different. So.
Can I add into that? And I think it's something that I'm really afraid of when eventually we're going to get a full release of a game. The beauty of the development of this game and podcasts like ourselves and other ones exist is theory crafting. Theory crafting is a big part of this community. You know what I mean? And some people like to see weather changes. Some people like to see this, and we discuss it with each other. We discuss it with you guys, and I think theory crafting is the most beautiful thing that consists at the moment. And I'm really afraid that if this game fully releases, that we're going to do that a lot less or in a way different way than we're doing it now. So let's take that time that we have to talk about it and discuss things with each other. And maybe people from CIG take things away from what we are discussing with yourselves or what you guys are discussing in chat. And take those things in. And I think that's the beauty of the Star Citizen community and people like Matt Sherman being here and talking to us and giving us, saying things like, okay, this might not be an option, this might be an option.
We discussed this why you work on that.
And exactly, and that's the beauty of this community at the moment, and let's cherish that,
I think the complete opposite of that, Saul. I think the theory crafting will just get deeper and deeper as the game gets closer to
I hope,
releasing.
man. I hope. I just have this feeling inside that you're a bit afraid, that it's not going to be there. One day.
Especially on the combat side of it, how are you going to fit your capital ship? What bombers do we need? What are the wings of support ships? I mean, comparing it to EVE Online sort of thing, that's never stopped theory crafting to this day, 13 years on.
No, look at that, and that's a really good example. I hope it's going to be like that, Zach, and I have all faith that it's going to be like that, but we never know until it happens.
Even for running the PvE stuff, it's just all about how can you squeeze that min-max sort of fit on your ship and stuff.
There's going to be loads of stuff. They're going to be constantly new things. They'll be adding things all the time. There will be... The thing is the way I look at it is always in life, it's the same thing. Change or die. I work in an industry that basically... You have to change all the time. If you have to be willing to change in the creative world that we live in now, you have to change. You have to move forward. You can't stay still. You can't stay stagnant. And I think that's the reality. Is this show here will change. we will change considerably. By the time the game comes out, we could be talking about all sorts of crazy.
We're still
things.
a bunch of assholes, though. When time comes.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll still I'll still be the British champion by then. About 5 times in a row, I imagine. And Miz will be still, Miz, and Sol will be Sol, and Zach will be, destroyed because he's lost 7 times in a row to me. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think also the person's kind of missing the point. Like, we're discussing these things, and I think that especially when we was talking last week, it was Maya, and we was talking about, he was asking what weather effects we'd like to see and shit. Like, we're not saying, oh, please delay 3.0 and put these features in. That's not what we're asking. We were just discussing the features we would like to eventually see in Star Citizen. No one is asking them to hold the fucking development.
No.
That was not what the point was. The point was not.
Yeah.
It was just literally talking about, oh, have you seen this in other games?
Yes.
Well, wouldn't it be cool if they put this in Star Citizen? And to be honest, and that's how World of Warcraft came about. At the end of the day, they looked at all these other different games and they said, well, have you seen this? Have you seen it? And then they put it all into one game, and then it came out and it fucking blew everybody else away because it had everything that everybody wanted. And that's kind of what we see here. Madness was going, oh, have you seen the weather effects in this game? Have you seen how the gunplay is in this game? And that's what we want. We want developers and we want people to look at other games and go, shit, that's a really good feature. I hope Star Citizen implement it.
Yeah.
It's purely that. It's not asking people to stop developing the game. We're not saying put everything on fucking hold until you add all these features. We're not even saying these features all need to be in. Well, we're not even saying they need to be in. This is just what we like to see. But we're not saying they need to be in on the day of release even. These are things that we would just want to see in the game. It doesn't even... It's just what we like. It's a wish.
Let's move on to the next question.
Moving on.
The question after, I think, is the better one to do. I don't know. Is this you? Is this your creativity, Zach, or is this someone else?
Not guilty for any questions tonight, guys. Sorry.
Okay, no. So we'll
We can skip you want to skip that.
Yeah, you can look at it yourself and decide what you want to do with it.
Okay, so Elo asks everyone, which is the moon you first want to visit, and what do you want to do there?
Say that again. Sorry, I was reading.
Anywhere where's pole dancers, I'm good.
Say that again.
First moon you want to visit and what you want to do.
The first moon I'll visit will be Levski, so that I can jump off of the platform and fall right down the middle. Down the hole. Okay. That is a massive hole. It's going to be. I have to jump into the hole. I have to jump into holes.
Nice one, Zach. What do you think?
First thing I'm going to do. Well, I really want to see how the ships are going to handle in the atmosphere. So I'll be heading straight down to the atmosphere, and hopefully, I want to kill someone on the ground with me big lasers and shit.
Zach will be shooting shit, basically.
Zach's just going to be pad camping everybody.
Shooting shit, but in atmosphere, because he hasn't tried it yet.
Everyone will be running around with railguns.
I'm just interested to see if the ships handle, like, if you've got to fly like a plane and keep your speed up, or they're going to be able to, hover and shit,
But they're going to hover, from what I understand, aren't they? Because some of them have got the propellers or whatever to hover. They come down. Like, I've seen it on the video they had on the Aquila and stuff. They've got the propeller things to kind of keep shit hovering.
We'll see.
So
other than that, it's going to be
what he wants to test.
Other than that, it's going to be strafe runs on shit that's parked up.
Cool. Yeah, for me, I want to look at Levski as well, basically because I want to be a smuggler, so I'd like to interested to see how they implement those mechanics, if they're going to be in 3.0 at least. So, I hope so. Sol, did you say any? Or you just said pole dancers?
No, Levski. I think Levski and seeing what eventually how bruising the town is, or the outpost, and that's going to be interesting, definitely for me. I'm going to patiently wait for transport to come in and that sort of things, and bring you. I think PvP is going to be a big thing for me as well. Definitely in 3.0. If we want to keep bringing 3.0 is going to last us for a certain amount of time again, and I think trying to bring quality content eventually will end up us doing PvP again, or maybe some races, or on planetary side or meetups, or it's going to see what we can do, use it and abuse it as always.
Okay, so the next question is from Derlancer, and it's says everyone, but it's probably more directed to Madness and EpicZaqq. But they're asking for 85X or Avenger Titan just to own and put around a system. Both are $50.
Yeah, it's hard to compare the two because the Titan can take obviously cargo and stuff. So for 3.0, I think that would be more useful for you, dude. Whereas the 85X is just a 2-man snub fighter with limited weaponry.
Yeah.
All size ones on it too.
I think if 85X is going to be a sports car and your Titan is going to be a van, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A van with firepower, and I think in 3.0 indeed you will have more fun with a van with firepower than a sports car.
You'll be able to do more in the Titan in 3.0, so I would go with that.
Yeah, that would be my opinion as well.
Yeah.
Next question is.
I was going to say briefly on the 85X though. Sorry, just because I was going to say on the 85X. I was going to say
Who included you in this podcast?
You missed the thing with the 85X though. What the 85X is great for is if you want to do filming. It's really good for doing videoing and filming footage.
Or being a tour guide.
Or being a tour. And I haven't yet, but it is genuinely.
We didn't mention tour guide yet today.
So, if that's what you want to do, I would say
good for filming?
For photos, it's got great cockpit view. The cockpit's fabulous, and yeah, it is really good for doing like filming stuff. So
yeah, I bought one specifically for recording cinematics with because you can take it out with the shot completely.
Yeah, so
cool.
If you want to do that, then I would say the 85. But if you want to do most of the game and enjoy the game, then the Titan the Avenger is the better option.
Interesting.
For cargo.
Okay, so next question is from Red Bear, and it's for everyone. How do you guys think they will handle security on a base when you log off? Because during that time, you won't be able to defend your base at all. Also, I do not think AI will be that good. So I think with this one, we're not going to have it in 3.0, so I think it's going to be less of an issue for a while. We did kind of hit on this before when we went over Outposts, because we talked about how are we going to have timers for being allowed to attack your base? Are we going to be allowed to attack it whenever someone just turns up and attack it? That sort of thing. So it's an interesting question, but we don't have a lot of information to really base it off.
I would say you're going to be looking at games like Conan recently and other games where people build up, or like Dark and Light or Miscreated and stuff, where people build bases and then log off, and then you come back and all your shit's been stolen and your base has been destroyed pretty quickly. Wait and see if that's going to be a part of the game or if it's going to be easier to defend. I mean, Eve does it when you have bases, right? I mean, you know, if people log off, your shit gets destroyed.
In terms of bases in Eve, you can obviously put turrets that are like automatic turrets and other defenses on them and shit.
They're not scrubby either. They're pretty decent as far as I remember. And then if you the better the bases, the more tanky it is, the longer it takes to destroy, meaning that there's a greater chance that the guys will get alerts. Do they get alerts in Eve? I can't remember if they get alerts to say, hey, your base is under attack.
Yeah, you do. You get an Eve mail. But there's also like invulnerability timers too, so you've got to take that into account. But I don't think timers would make sense in SC at all, since they're going for a more realistic approach.
Yeah, so
I don't think timers would work.
Turrets, alerts, Mobiglass, phone alerts.
What about shields? Like you could have like a shield generator around the base so that they can get through, potentially.
Ooh, you'd need to
maybe
land
you
your
just disappeared.
You'd have to land your ATATs and your snow troopers to take out the shield generator first before you
it's
take
an extra
the base.
game mechanic, isn't it? People coming in and trying to get through the shield somehow.
That would be super cool.
Yeah, also traps and booby traps, things like that as well.
Yeah,
I think
things like that's got to have like counter gameplay to it, like for sure.
Yeah,
it couldn't disappear.
Like
surely.
I
think it will disappear out of space completely. You zone out and you're gone if you log out.
Your base?
Oh, your base. Oh, I thought if you were on a base and you log out on that base, you will I think that. Sorry, I interpreted it wrong.
You can't get rid of bases once it's on the playing surface. Someone might build on top.
But you raised an interesting thing though. Okay, so say you log out in your base. Your base then gets taken over by somebody else. They rob it, they destroy it, whatever. Do you spawn back in a burnt
On your
down
broken bed.
shell of a broken bed, or do you spawn as a prisoner in their ship because they've managed to capture your body?
It's a
if
tough one. Then we got the
physical body?
discussion again. You know, how much time
Persistence.
can people put into things? People that are working during the day, and get raided by a bunch of school kids. You know what I mean? That are having half a day on Wednesday. You know what I mean? It's like, how far are you going to go in that sort of stuff? You know what I mean? People will have real lives. You know what I mean? And they cannot always be online. So then there needs to be some sort of a safety for that. You know, I can see that the taking over of bases is going to be a thing, but then I think, like, and how far do you go in punishing someone that was working 9 to 5 and sweating his ass off in some kind of factory on the outskirts of fucking Birmingham? You know what I mean? It's like, how are you gonna balance that out? You see what I mean? It's a tough one, because
I think
people will be busy and people cannot be on there 24/7.
I think you'll die.
I think the problem is the scope's changed, isn't it? Because we had, say, if you log off on your ship, the whole point was the ship would disappear. So you would, like, if you logged off while in your bed and on the ship, then that would disappear. You would disappear. And the same as if you had your own personal hangars, they were kind of meant to be a hangar within a building or something on a planet. So you would land in your hangar, you'd log out in your hangar, you would disappear again. You couldn't be attacked. You start implementing bases into it, and then when someone logs out on their base, do they stay in their bed like Ark does and things like that, and you can still see the body there? Or does the body disappear and then your base could get smashed and you would then log on to an empty shell? So that's one that they're going to have to work out. I'm not even sure. I mean, it's just the new things that they're adding is causing more issues for them to think about. But
I think you could log on to a cinematic, you flying away from a planet, saying, "Hey, dude, today
at my base.
Today at 2:00, you had to flee from your base planetary site because someone attacked it. You are back in space now. Have fun. You're either going to take it back or you're going to fuck off and do something else." That could be a really good alternative to such a thing, you know.
Depends on how often you die, because anything when you add a cinematic to anything, if the cinematic,
but I don't think it's
repetitive. If it's a repetitive thing that's used a lot, it can get awfully boring, and you'll want to hit that skip button.
Won't die.
Skip.
Flee.
I want to spawn. I want to play the game. Yeah, but it's just what I mean is that's always any animation that's like a repeating animation as such can become, for me personally, I just want to hit the skip button.
You could have different variations.
Get me in my the animation is just getting into the ship already boring me.
You could cancel the animation out, but if you want to watch the animation, then there's a bit of a story to why you got away. You know what I mean?
I would be happy if you just get killed. Like if I go to sleep in a base.
But it doesn't work that way, man.
No. Hang on.
Let's be fucking realistic.
Let me finish.
People are working during the day.
Let me finish. It doesn't matter. You can't please everyone. You go to sleep in your base. Your base gets you have defense.
You're completely losing your mind.
Hang on, no. No, I'm not. Your base gets attacked. Your base gets destroyed. You've got shields, you've got turrets, you've got NPCs, so everything you can to protect yourself. There's a big team comes along, takes it out. They destroy the base. You just spawn somewhere, the nearest safe place when you next log in, and you go, shit, I lost my stuff, but I know where my stuff was on my locker, or you can go back to that base, try and recapture it. I just think that's the easiest and the simplest answer to this.
Listen, Madness, you only will have a certain amount of that. Yeah. So which dumb idiot is going to log out on a base then? You know what I mean? So next to that, people have lives. You cannot expect people to be on there 24/7. That will not be expected from you. If you're going to jump high or low, that's not going to happen. I can tell you now, it's not going to happen.
I honestly, they can't. I mean, wait and see, Saul. But I don't. I think you want.
I don't think it's
too
going to
much.
happen.
I think you want too much from.
I think it could get back to what we were talking about earlier. It's all about, if you are just going to be a casual player, then you're not really going to be delving down into the depths of lawless, dangerous space and risking a logout like somewhere where you could potentially killed. You'd just be staying to the sort of high-sec places where maybe in the high-sec system bases, like they can't get access to the bed in the back or something if you want to like log out there. So they'd be able to like rob your stuff or whatever, but only like certain parts of your base or whatnot.
But then there must be a good reason why you log out at that base. If there's no good reason for you to log out at that base, you might as well just go back somewhere and thingy. And next, as I say, there people are, and if you're a hardcore player or not, you know, I see myself as a hardcore player, but I still have to work during the day. You know what I mean? I cannot say to my boss, hey, dude, I'm getting attacked, man. My planetary base is getting attacked. I need to fuck off. You know what he's going to tell me? You
You just
fuck
need
off.
that's
and
where
then
that's
come
where
back.
orgs come in. So you can send a message
It's
to your mate.
difficult, and it's one that they're going to have to think about. I mean, because like
It's
there's
a tough
different
one.
games. Different games you log off. Like I said, there's different scenarios. If you're in a ship, you would log off. You can't have your body floating in space, so it would log off. So they've got to try and work at it. Technically, if you're going to be able to log off in space, it's going to have to replicate that. I would have thought on a planet. You can't be attacked while on a planet, but you're safe if you log off in space. It kind of doesn't seem to make sense. So I'm guessing your body will disappear because it just for consistency. Otherwise, everybody might as well get in their ship, quickly go in the atmosphere and log off in your ship. Would make no sense. But yeah, I mean, there are games that do have constant things. So like, can that you're inside your base, so it depends on how well you make your defenses. If people break through your defenses while you're offline, they can come in and they can capture you and kill you.
A good example is a wormhole in Eve, but then you have a reason to log out in a fucking wormhole, you know what I mean? And you have your pod set up, and your pods could get fucked up while you're gone. But then you have a reason to be there, because the risk-reward thing is very big. And it's not easy to get to a certain place outside the wormhole, because you don't know if the wormhole is going to close and you're going to be able to get in easily again. But there needs to be a risk-reward thing. And you need to bear in mind that people are having realized as well, you know, I'm all about immersion and fidelity, but up until a certain level, that it's feasible for people to do as well, you know.
Like I said, I think there's going to be more than enough safe ways to be able to log out without you having to do too much strain and worrying about whether or not you're going to get attacked on a little...
You're breaking up a bit, man.
On a little outpost. I think you're going to be... I think there are many ways you're going to be able to stay alive, dude, seriously, without having to have too much effort.
I hope, but there needs to be something why we're going to stay there, you know what I mean?
Anyway...
Yeah,
let's move on from this, because it's all speculation and we're way from that anyway. Even 3.0 is not going to give us personal bases. So
yeah, I mean they're still working on it. Sherman said anyway. So
they don't even know yet.
Yes,
it's stuff to be discussed. So
yeah,
let Sherman figure it out.
Okay, the next question is from Red Bear 1 again, and it says the game changer. What could it be? Could it be a base builder? Thought them bases again. We just did that.
I think we touched on that what we just discussed.
What about wormholes? Could that be the game changer?
But it's something we already knew about that we're going to have.
Oh, do we know about wormholes? Do we?
Well, jump. I don't know.
No, but wormholes different. Wormhole, not jump points. Wormholes.
Wormholes, yeah. Wormholes could be very interesting. I think it's fun gameplay. Yeah, you have people in Eve that, and Zach can tell even more about it. I think he's more experienced in it than I am. Yeah. Because I only played shortly, but there are orgs that completely focus on wormholes because the rewards can be very great in the higher degradations of the wormholes. So it's definitely going to be interesting gameplay. And then comes in what Madness just said earlier, where you will get fucked up if you log off, and I think that's a good thing. You know what I mean? But on a base on the planetary side, it's I don't think it's like there must be something on that planetary side that's worth logging off for. You know what I mean? But I think wormholes is definitely going to be a game changer in that perspective.
Yeah. I have no idea what the game changer would be. Some people have hinted at that underwater stuff, but I think that I wouldn't like it to be that because it just sounds like adding more features that
we don't really a game changer. That was it. Going for a swim.
Lookers.
Going for a swim. Yeah, it's not, is it? I don't know.
Like for me at least, it's not like seeing a capital ship somewhere would be a bit of a game changer than like active, you know.
That would be great. I mean, but I don't think it's a game changer.
But it's not an unknown game changer, though, is it? Like we know we're going to get a capital ship.
Yeah.
I thought the whole thing was going to be like a kind of unknown.
Shit is going to hit the fan then, I tell you. You know what I mean? I got Madness on the phone at 5 o'clock in the morning. Soul, I've seen a capital ship. You need to come out now.
Come watch it.
Soul's going to be like, I can't. I'm logged off in some fucking base.
I'm logged off in a base. I had a reason. There was a reason for me to log off here. I've forgotten it.
Risk reward, you know, risk reward. We discussed this 2 years ago in the podcast, you asshole. Why are you calling me 5:30 in the morning?
What are you doing?
He's probably going to regret saying game changer because after people will probably sit and go, this isn't a game changer.
Yeah,
it's amazing, but it's not a game changer.
I can imagine like all the people at CIG going like this, literally all face planting when he said it.
Everybody's waiting for like, fucking thousands of people just waiting for a game changer. All looking at it going,
I think the Delta patch is the game changer. It's already happened. It's like, oh my god.
Zach winning 2018 UK dogfighting champion would be a game changer.
It would certainly be a game changer. Yeah, I'd have to change my
Madness
handle.
crying in the corner, holding that trophy. I'm not gonna give it up.
No, you can't take it off me.
Okay, so
Is there any more questions?
yeah.
Go for it. Keep going.
The next question is Pauper of Pew. He says, we did kind of cover this a little bit, but he talked a lot about dedicated fighters. What about PvP and starter ships? Where is the love for these little badasses?
It's no love because the shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Not meant to be dogfighters at all.
Can I just say something about that? Put Zach in a fucking Aurora and he'll beat your ass as well. It's,
He'll beat most of us, yeah.
I think the M50 with mass drivers on is a fantastic little ship to fly around.
It's not really a starter ship, though.
But it's not a starter ship. I know, but I'm just thinking little ships. Starter ships wise, the again the Mustang Delta would be, but again it's not available to buy. It's not a starter ship, so.
Yeah, and they stopped. The LN used to be, and they took that package away as well. It's literally just the Mustang Alpha and the MR. So
a lot of it comes down to pilot skill as well. Like a good pilot in a shit ship will do better against a bad pilot in a good ship. Yeah, so you've got to factor a lot in as well.
That's what I always say. That's what we were saying, and we've said it before. Is learning some shit ships, learn ships that get killed quickly, and learn to not get killed, and you'll be a better pilot. Like I said, Super Hornets make average pilot look good. Sabres make average pilot look bad.
Know when to fight and know when to hide, basically. I think that's going to be a big one as well. Astropub.
Next question.
Next question we're not going to ask because Madness we're not going to inflate his ego anymore.
What are you talking about?
So the question after that is... It's not actually inflating your ego. It's saying who's going to be the next 2018 champion, but we've had that already.
Well, I would...
Snuffbox number 79 asks, how many frames per second do you think 3.0 will give someone with a high-end PC? 5, 10, 15, or more?
1.
More.
On the PC game article that was out, they said they were getting around like 30, so...
That's doable.
Hopefully it'll be more by the time we get it.
Optimized, they said they're optimizing, so 45, 50?
Hopefully.
Probably be the same as what we're getting now in the PU, I would think.
Yeah. No one in the server, you'll get 60. Just 2 people in the server, you'll get about 30.
You get 10.
Yeah. Everybody in the server, you might get... It might be like...
Crash.
I think that's what they don't want to have, is they don't want to have the problem which we had with Star Marine, was this once the fighting comp, once you had 24 people in or whatever, it just turned to dog shit.
But I mean...
So
a good PC is definitely going to help either way, so get the best you can.
Yeah, I would. Isn't they released the new processor, the i8000 or something, or whatever?
The i9, you mean?
The i9, sorry, yeah, the new one that's like 11% faster than
Listen,
the
we
i7 700 or something.
Hardware's can do shit until it's optimized properly.
Exactly, and next to that, we're going to get a whole new.
Don't get Soul started. Don't get Soul started on this.
Well, a very interesting one is we obviously we're going to get a whole new technology in graphics cards as well. So it's going to be a very interesting one where we're going to jump from 11 to about 16 to 32 gigs. So we're going to have some good times ahead of us. But as everyone says, the game will not be optimized and will not be optimized in 3.0, but will be optimized more towards release, I think. And I think let's not hope for better frames. Let's just do it with what we got at the moment and enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, netcode's scheduled for 3.2. So that could be potentially like months and months and months away. 2018
somewhere, yeah, hopefully.
Okay, and the final question is for EpicZaqq, and it's from Biomechanical, and he says, what do you think the best ship will be for the tour guide profession?
Tour guide?
Yeah.
No
That's his
idea.
new pirate role.
You're probably not aware. Basically, Bio, just give you the little lowdown for anyone that didn't know. Bio famously, I could probably find the stream link to him, but I will do it another time, where he said that being a tour guide will make more money than a pirate.
Yeah, well, obviously something luxury then, if you want to impress someone into paying you shitloads of money to fly them around. Probably 600i maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Or
If you want to go big boy.
890 jump,
Starliner.
possibly. Starliner. Yeah. I've got one thing before we go. Okay, one thing. All right, so I'm going to put up on the video. So, this is the Vandal. So we all know about the Vandal in terms of the body, the way that they're going to have the new glowing feature on their body. I don't know what the name of it is, the complicated fancy name is for them, but they're going to have what's it called when they do this weird glowing thing? They said it. What's the name of it?
Pulsing.
No, it's like a fancy name.
Glowiness?
Someone might know it in chat. But anyway, they're doing this kind of glowiness. Yes, exactly. This kind of glowiness thing that they've added to the Vandal, which I think is fantastic. But I've remembered, I don't know if anyone remembers a certain movie called Outlander, which was done by Chris Roberts.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know where you're going with it.
Yeah, if you
Do they have
notice on
purple
this,
variants of this?
if you notice on the screen here, I don't know if you can see very clearly. I don't know if I can make it go any bigger on my screen. Hang on.
I want to play a Vandal.
You notice
Fucking human.
they're called the Morwyn, I think they're called, and
Bioluminescence.
yeah, and they basically he glows in the movie, and it's funny because they remind me a lot of the Vandal. When I saw this, I was actually quite shocked at how there's a real similarity between the dog in the bioluminescence. Thank you, Flying Gecko. I knew you would save me to it, but yeah. Hang on, let me just open up and I got this one. So the way they kind of glow, I just saw it the other day and I was like, very, very cool. And I was thinking how menacing the Vandal will become in the game, in dark spaces, in ships. Once we have, how menacing it'll be to have something do that to you. You know what I mean? Suddenly go from dark to glowing will shit you up in seconds. Especially
You just see like black and all of a sudden just part of it glowing up.
Yeah, you will shit fucking 20 different colors of shit. 20 different colors.
Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine? And I'm just like, with a lot of people, we haven't really talked about it. I was just like, this is Chris Roberts. He did this film. This is his thing, and this was quite menacing at this scene. I remember being quite watching it, going, "Holy fuck!" And I was thinking, imagine that in a spaceship. You suddenly light a flare like Alien, and then there's this fucking thing, or literally you're just standing there, you've run out of flares, and then suddenly something's glowing, and then all of a sudden that happens.
Can you see Bio do one of his tours around the planet, and it's something like that jumps out of the bush, and he basically goes like.
So yeah, sorry, I know that was
the tour guide club is there. Shall we play that?
You can do. We've got one more question that's extremely important. So I'll ask that one. It's from the Astropub, who we know is the king of extremely important questions.
Yes.
And so he's asking everybody, who are these fools?
Who are these fools? Well, we all know.
How long we got?
The face, the future face of Twitch is right here. I don't know about these other fools next to me.
Yeah.
My name is Bram. I'm from Holland.
We're fools enough to go on the Astropub show. That's
definitely.
And sit in the corner.
So what is everybody doing next week, boys? Or this week?
This rest of this week, yeah.
Watching Gamescom.
Yeah, definitely watching. I'm looking forward to seeing. When are the guys? Have they streamed already? I don't know if any of Maya or DJ or have the guys streamed anything yet?
I think Wednesday it's all gonna kick off. The floor is gonna open, right? I think they're just pre doing all this stuff at the moment. Don't get it. Forgive me if I'm wrong.
We had a freaking schedule. I told you when they were doing it. Go on, keep talking, and I'll see what I can find.
Yeah, so Wednesday everything is going to kick off as far as I know. Nexus said as well, starting the 23rd. So I think we're going to see Gamble and DJ and
cool.
our beloved Meyer from the 23rd.
Yeah, Wednesday the 23rd, starting at 12 p.m. CST, 3 a.m. PDT, 10 a.m. UTC. That's when they're going to be starting the streams. We don't know what they're going to be streaming. Possibly some Daymar, possibly just 2.6. And that's going to be on the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th, and the 26th. So all the way up till Saturday, same starting time. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah.
Let's hope they can put on a good show for us. See some cool stuff.
I hope so. Mm-hmm. I hope so. I'm sure. I mean, we already saw a brief clip of them showing some guy testing the Nox. I think it was, or flying the Nox.
Yeah. So the booth itself is going to have by the way they're tweeting out, it's just going to have Daymar and give you a chance to fly around and check the knocks out. How much they're going to actually be able to play that moon, I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's going to be full 3.0 because that's not what they're saying. Saying just Daymar. So I think that's what they're going to get to test. Whether the streamers are going to show that, I'm not sure, because the thing is, last time we was kind of waiting for the next build, and we thought they might show Star Marine and everything else, and then all we actually got to see was stuff that we were already playing because it was a stable build that they could show new backers. So I don't know. We may well they're not doing it for us. They're not doing it for us that are already back in the game. They're streaming that to show, new people that they want to get to join the game and get hyped for it. So they may well not be showing. They may just be showing what we're already playing. We don't know.
We'll wait and see and get a surprise on the 23rd. Something is going to jump out of a box with a nice little ribbon around it, and we're all gonna.
She's already claimed, mate.
We're all gonna moan, or we're gonna be happy. It's gonna be a waiting game.
I think I've got no more salt left for this game, really, apart from a few things.
We shall see when they change the Saber cockpit.
Oh God! If they do that,
it needs changing. No, it needs changing.
Oh,
it needs changing. Yeah,
it will be changed. They're changing all the cockpits. They're just whether or not they make the right decisions for Aegis or not is questionable. What I was going to say on this Nox picture, I don't know if anyone else noticed, but that looks a little bit lower than what we've seen. But it could be just my eye looking at it from a front. It's hard to see from this angle, but it looks a little bit lower than what we've seen hovering, but they did say that they'd actually lowered it a bit again. It seemed that it was a bit too high.
Zach, let's kick off with the guest. What are your plans for the upcoming week?
Well, since I'm on vacation from work, we're just going to be doing more streaming, I would guess. Chilling out with the rest of the EU streamers, I suppose, since we're on that time zone. But like everyone's really coming together over the last few weeks, like Toby and Madness and Rambo have all just been chilling with each other mainly. So it's been fun. Yeah. Just supporting each other and shit,
Nice. Star Citizen community on its best as always,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, when you get back to streaming, Sol, as well, let's say that'd be cool as fuck.
Well, and I don't want to jump on there. I don't know if it wasn't my turn, but I've been back on the Star Citizens, and I think the break that I took, I needed to get that joy back again. I've been doing 2 streams in a row where we played Star Citizen, except today where we did because I wanted to test out the Track IR on the Euro Truck because Ramp, my mod, got me a bit back into Euro Truck, but I got the joy back in the dogfighting, and I didn't have that for a while. And then I think it's better to sometimes say, okay, I cannot create quality content with that game. It's better to just not do it for a moment and then jump back on it as soon as you're revitalized.
Totally.
I'll definitely join you guys in some dogfights this week. Just hit me up in the Discord, and we'll do some dual streams, or we'll get some stuff going.
Yep. Definitely. We should try and maybe at the end of Gamescom or something, we should try and just get everyone streaming together. And just
that would be good. Yeah, like a big stream orgy.
Yeah. Definitely, boys. Right,
Mizzle.
So I'm hoping to stream some more Star Citizen tomorrow with Toby, I think is the plan. But I may have also got into a certain beta for Sea of Thieves. So
nice.
May be playing that all week as well, which unfortunately it can't be streamed, discussed, or anything else. So, but if anybody watching is actually in the alpha, let me know because I need a crew.
Did you get an email? Because I signed up for that stuff.
Yeah, I got an email.
I need to check my emails out. Then I haven't done that.
Is there still space to sign up, or is it gone? Is it gone now?
Yeah, you can sign up anytime, I think. But they released something like 20,000 keys and only 4,000 was PC or something. But they just announced at Gamescom that it's going to be this alpha test is going to be cross-platform as well. So it's going to be.
There's not even any spaceships in that game.
There's definitely no spaceships in that game.
There are different types of ships. Yeah,
there's just not spaceships.
It looks. I saw the trailer for it. I watched the trailer because you've been going on about it, Miz, and I watched the trailer for it, and it looked. It did look really quite interesting.
It's going to be good. I mean, there's a game, is it Black Wake or something like that, out already that's similar, which you can all man a ship, and it's kind of going to be quite good for practicing multi-crew type stuff, because it's going to need a lot of communication and working together, and there's PvP and things like that. So it's like that, but Black Wake's an arena type game, and you just end up on a match where I think this is more of an open world type
stuff,
thing.
yeah.
So yeah, it looks like
I think Ubisoft is working on a similar thing in the style of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I don't know if you've seen that one. That
really?
one looks interesting as well. Yeah,
been quite popular, that, hasn't it?
Black Flag, yeah, it was very good.
Yeah. So they're doing, and it's going to be, I think, similar to Black Wake. You're going to do PvP battles on a ship with multi-crews and very immersion and that sort of stuff. So that's going to go on some good titles in the upcoming year, I think, guys. So Destiny 2, Madness, we're going to play that together, are we?
Oh, don't like Destiny 2. Like I've said many times, is going to be that will be my second game. I think for a while. I will definitely be playing Destiny 2 a lot. So watch this space. I'm always looking for new games, but I was a big Destiny fan, and I played a lot of it on console. So I will be definitely trying it out on the PC and streaming it. And yeah, I'm excited, very excited to see if I can be good playing it without a controller or with mouse and keyboard.
So, be better, dude.
Yeah, supposedly it'd be better. So yeah, fingers crossed. And I'm just showing off a little bit of this Sea of Thieves games, which for Ms.
So I'll be mostly playing that, and then Star Citizen when I'm streaming, most likely.
You doing your Pain and Prattle?
I think Des is still away for another week, so I'll probably be testing this.
It's a shame. If you haven't checked it out, definitely go check Miz out if he does it again on the Tuesday.
Definitely
really
be
good
coming
fun.
back. Just
really good fun.
Probably a week off from it, that's all.
And last but not least, Mr. Madness.
I am really busy with deadlines, but I'm hoping now that I'm kind of crossed the curve, I guess, to a degree with work. But at the moment, it's very hit and miss with me because we lost one of the designers, so I'm having to take his workload. So that's the reason why I haven't been able to stream as much as I would like to, guys. So just watch the space. Once I get the balance right again, everything will be fine. Hopefully, I will stream at least 2 more times this week before the week's out. If not, I'll try and squeeze what I can where I can. We missed out on the diner last week just because I was so pressed for deadlines. So unfortunately, that's real life. I mean, none of us here are, I believe at the moment, are partnered, so we do actually have to make money in the real world. So we do this very much as a hobby and for you guys, and we really enjoy it, and we're glad that you all come and hang out with us. We do talk for quite a while, some of us, so we really appreciate you guys, the ones that stick with us.
We keep saying we're going to shorten the podcast, and it
we can't. We just love. We love creating content. We love chatting to you guys. We love you guys engaging with us, and it's such a great game. There's no other game like it. I have to say, there's no other game like it.
We love giving each other shit as well.
Yes, exactly.
But that's Addicted Podcast for you.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just before you wrap up, guys, I just want to say thanks for having us on and stuff as a guest for the second time. It's been fun as always.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah.
Pleasure you
I'm
coming.
available for the next 2 Mondays since I'm off.
Yeah. Well,
definitely get involved, man.
Yeah, why not? We can continue with we'll do some more. We could do a little bit more on the PvP side, and
if some people drink a bit less on Sunday, they might be able to join as well next time.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
I wonder who that might. But we did. Yes, certain Supermac brothers Ryan was meant to be guest starring, but he may have had one too many beers the night before or the day before on his stream.
So hopefully he'll join next week.
He'll join us soon again. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, guys, make sure you give everyone on the team a follow. Make sure you give our guest EpicZaqq a follow. Go and follow his channels, his Twitter, his Facebook, his YouTube and Twitch. Please, it does. We appreciate you all coming here and as Madness says, watching us and supporting us. It means a lot to us, and we hope that you're enjoying the content that we give you. If not, tough shit, really.
Yeah.
We'll try and finish early, but no. All the videos I said every week, but all the videos will go up on YouTube. They go up on my channel, Madnesses, and the Addicted channel.
Yeah.
We also have SoundCloud as well, so if you don't want to watch our ugly mugs, you can listen to us instead.
Yeah, please. And if you've got friends or people that you think might enjoy the show, but maybe they can't watch the show, you just hit them up with the link in SoundCloud, and they can check it out.
They can listen to it.
I mean, we do obviously a lot of visuals as well, so they might be like, "Oh, I don't know what they're talking about," but you know, they can always check out the video.
Just a public service announcement. Hopefully, we have Mr. Biomechanical back next week as well. He had some technical difficulties in getting going today, so hopefully. And we missed the bugger, you know what I mean? Hopefully he can be on here again next time when we go live, or hopefully soonish. He will be joining us with some more tour guide tips, etc., and taking it up from there.
Yeah.
Who are we hosting today?
Hoplite. We're going to host Hoplite. He's fighting currently Toby.
Oh, that's nice. That's a good thing to do.
So, shouldn't Toby be in freaking bed?
He's told you. I've turned him. He's fully PU now, man.
Freaking addicted at the moment.
He is addicted, literally addicted. So I'm going to host.
Thanks to Nexus as well. For
Nexus. Like I say,
Nexus.
Great, best mod, awesome dude, fantastic mod. Thank you, dude.
Thanks everyone for the questions as well.
Yeah, keep them coming.
Keep on coming with that stuff. Yeah.
And we'll see you all next Monday. So have a great guys.
I think I'm hosting next Monday.
Either you are or Bio is. It all depends because Bio was again. Bio
can
computer.
Go back at you, to be honest.
Yes, probably. We'll see. It's all to
I'm
do with.
away after that, so.
Oh, okay. So Bio will probably do then. Bio will do the week after or whatever.
It's just easier to go back in the cycle so that we all follow each other. So
keep an eye on the Twitters. We will definitely let you guys know.
I'm streaming next week. I'll host.
Going on.
Miz will host next week, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys. I'm gonna host Hoplite a week. Just
we need some bombs and some raids.
There's the addictive raid. It's ready to go, guys. I'm gonna host. Say, guys, see you later. See you next week.
Catch you later. All.
See
Bye.
You. Bye.
Gone.
Gotta wait for the host to go through.
Wolverine.
Is it hosted yet? Yeah. The Wolverine, just like what the fuck
he's
got
his cam on as well.
Yeah.
He's low.